Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Looks like we have everything set up. Iowa Observer Mode, free for all, lock teams, record game. Either 100 is the color orange. Seems like we are good to go. We're going to be playing 5 games here between Knuschelbär and a SoldieR. And they are both playing for a different team, of course. We have Knuschelbär for the Nilla Ninjas, so that's the logo in the top left right now. And we have SoldieR for the New World Challengers. That is here in the top right. And it looks like the logos are actually in the correct position as well. So let's just do that. Then we will be ready. Please give me some feedback on my sound and the sound of the game, whether it's too loud or too quiet, because I have just set up OBS like half an hour ago. All my settings, my configuration was gone, so I had to redo the entire thing. So please let me know how it sounds and I can adjust anything, even during the stream. Okay, it looks like all the hunts are there. As you can see, there are 5 on the north side of the map and 5 on the south side. And in terms of mines, they are, I believe, exactly mirrored. So, we're going to be talking about the game now. In the top of the map, we have SoldieR in the color blue playing as the French civilization, a European civilization. Something that he enjoys playing and has a lot of experience with. Immediately, you can see Knuschelbär, who's in the south of the map in the color green, going for a trade post. And it looks like he got there first. SoldieR wanted to get this trade post as well, but Knuschelbär beat him to it. Which means that if SoldieR wants to get another trade post, if he wants to get one, he needs to get either the center one or the one on the right. But generally, the one on the left is just best because it gets the first pass from this trade trova. So it means you get the XP the most early on, which means you get your second shipment earlier than your opponent. So, which is generally better. So, in most cases, both players want to go for this trade post, but of course, if the other player beats you to it, you need to go to find another one. Looks like instead SoldieR went for a market, so he's gonna do hunting dogs right now. He's already got a Native American warrior, he's got his house up, so no trade post for him, but he's got some infrastructure down. An early market is quite a good bonus as well, something French can almost always go for, so he should be fine in that regard. And for Ottoman, it's of course quite normal to start out with a trading post. They have all the wood they need. It was a 400 wood start for our Ottoman player. So he decided to make a house and a mosque and a trade post. So good start for the Ottoman player as well. Looks like French is now going for another native warrior. Well, a bear in this time. It looks like a bear cub. So he's got quite a little army already, a rifleman and a bear. He's lost some HP on his hero, but should there be a battle between the two explorers, then he should definitely be able to win that, especially since he has got the scout, so he can scout out the explorer. So if Knuschelbär wants to make another trade post during transition to the second age, for example, he has to look out for this little army that's running around to make sure his explorer doesn't get killed. It looks like he is heading straight toward that trade post socket. He is chopping a lot of wood, so we may have a little bit of a contention here, and let's see what SoldieR decides to do with his army. He's picking up another 90 food, so he's got a lot of treasures early on, but is he going to actually try to deny this trade post or maybe even steal it? Also, SoldieR is now aging up to the second age, and it looks like he's also chopping a lot of wood, so he may want to actually get that trade post before Knuschelbär. It looks like here we have the trade post contention, and again Knuschelbär is there first. Of course, he's the Ottoman player who's quite a fast player to age up, and it looks like he's gonna send his little army, his bear and his rifleman to the trade post socket to kill the explorer, and is going for the trade post socket in the center of the map himself. But he's not gonna deny this trade post at all. He didn't even reach the hero before it was finished, so it means that Knuschelbär has got no real issues getting this straight line. And SoldieR getting the center one is also not really ideal for him, because it means you have to defend the center of the map to actually protect it well. And normally, if your opponent starts making units early, he can either go for your base, so that's in the center of the map generally, or go for the flank, so for the trade post. But if Knuschelbär starts making units here in a forward base, like he does right now, a little bit forward, if he starts making units here and he wants to go to Soldier's base, he just passes the trade post, so he can start attacking that on his way to Soldier or on his way back. It doesn't really matter. So he doesn't have to go out of his way on the map to try and kill the trade post. So Soldier is probably quite unhappy with getting this trade post instead of one on the edge of the map. So not a great start in that regard. It looks like his hero is now getting killed off, and also looks like Soldier is scouting this barracks out. He's got his scout positioned as well, so he knows exactly when there's going to be units coming from the Knuschelbär player and what units they are. So he does have a big scouting advantage. He's got 4 scouting units left on the field, whereas Knuschelbär he's got 1 unit, but only 36 HP right now. So it's going to be really hard for Knuschelbär to scout out what Soldier is going to be doing, what units he has in base, and what his first building is, for example, if he's going to be starting out with a barracks or stable. It looks like Soldier is going for barracks first. He probably wants some musketeers out so he can start fighting those janissaries that Knuschelbär is now training. Of course, starting out with a stable is probably preferred for a French player. You want to have the mobility, you want to raid. However, against janissaries, hussars are just not going to do enough damage before they're going to get killed off. So I think it's pretty reasonable decision to go for a barracks first. Looks like more Janissaries now joining in, a second batch of just 3 Janissaries, and it looks like this little army, the hero and the Cherokee Rifleman, can actually kill off one of the Janissaries before it reaches the trade post, which means that 5 of his musketeers can now snipe off one of the Janissaries as well. So it looks like Soldier is making good use of the little units he has, microing them extremely well, positioning them well against the military army of Knuschelbär, and it looks like for now at least he has saved this trade post, at least for another pass from the stagecoach. Knuschelbär is researching stagecoach because it means his trade post will have a lot more income, but also Soldier is going to be profiting from that by having his own trade post. So in the end, Soldier is pretty well off with this early rush. He's even got more musketeers, but now the Ebuskins start coming up, and they are extremely good against the musketeers. They do have more range, they do siege damage, which also means that units with range resist, like hussars or crossbowmen, don't have resist against them. So those Ebuskins are just too scary for the few musketeers Soldier has. So he's opting to go for a flank, to go for the trade post here on the west side of the map, instead of trying to pick off those Ebuskins directly. So he's trying to divert the attention of Knuschelbär. It looks like it's working. Knuschelbär is following that army to the west side of the map, and looks like he wants to try and defend his trade post. Getting distracted by this hero. Once again, Soldier making good use of his units and making sure he can buy. He buys all the time he can buy. Crossbowmen now coming out. They have been trained from the 700 and 600 wood that Soldier sent. So, denying the trade post again from Knuschelbär. So this is a good pick by those crossbowmen. There are no musketeers and no Ebuskins nearby from Knuschelbär. So Soldier doing a good job denying Knuschelbär here. Also getting the scout, as you can see, perfect positioning. The scout is between the military units and his own military units, so he can know exactly when he's going to be attacked. On the other hand, these musketeers are getting chased down by the Ebuskins and the Janissaries, and they are probably lost. The one thing they have accomplished, though, is that Knuschelbär is in a very awkward position with his army right now. There's a lot of crossbowmen left from Soldier, 10 crossbowmen, and now 10 hussar out. So he can probably pretty easily crush this army with the units he has. So that's the one advantage these musketeers made him. Knuschelbär is now aging up. Soldier is not yet there. As you can see, Soldier is a long way off aging. He probably needs a 700 coin shipment before he can age. And Knuschelbär is right now aging with the fast age-up politician. So that means in just 15 seconds he will be aged up at 9 minutes. And then he can start pumping out those real scary shipments, like the 2 falconets, for example, which is generally an extremely powerful shipment against any second age civilization. It looks like right now is the time for him to attack and intercept these units. 10 Janissaries versus 10 crossbowmen is quite fair, but the Abyss guns are in a very awkward position. The Hussars getting a surround on them, and that means those Abyss guns have been dealt with, and now the crossbowmen can finish off the rest of the Janissaries. The Hussars are probably going to be trying to snare them and tanking some range damage with their range resist. Meanwhile, the crossbowmen are going to do most of the damage against those Janissaries. So this battle is going to be cleaned up by SoldieR. On the other hand, he will be stuck in the second age for a minute before he has gathered up all his resources to age up. And looks like he didn't send 700 coin, but 8 crossbowmen instead, which may be a little bit awkward. It may be a little bit of an overkill, since he doesn't need those 8 crossbowmen to finish off this army. On the other hand, it will help him during any attack that will come in the next 1 or 2 minutes from Knuschelbär. So if Knuschelbär is right now going to attack with any army, those 8 crossbowmen may just help him defend well. For example, Knuschelbär is sending 8 Janissaries as a shipment, and he's probably gonna do the veteran upgrade for Janissaries as well. He definitely should. So those 8 crossbowmen may help him defend here. It looks like Knuschelbär again going for the trade post. So yeah, as I said before, his base being here and SoldieR being in the same line as the trade post is just unfortunate for SoldieR. It's so much harder to destroy the trade post here on the flank than it is to destroy the one in the center of the map. Looks like we're going in for a raid. SoldieR is gonna go to the south of the map and try to raid some units. It looks like 2 Hussar already here. Gonna get at least 1 village here. There is no great code upgrade yet. There is a market, but only in the hunting dogs and the placer mines upgrade so far. So it looks like right now Knuschelbär is going to be very susceptible. Whoa, that took me some effort to get out right. To raiding, and that's going to be a big disadvantage for him in the next few minutes. It looks like Knuschelbär is even going to try and go back to his base with his Janissaries to catch those Hussars, but of course the mobility of the Hussars are just way too much for slow moving Janissaries. So I'm not quite sure what he's exactly trying to accomplish here by going all the way back with his Janissaries. Now sending some Abyss guns there as well. His next shipment in the third age is not something like 2 Falconets, but 1,000 wood, and with that he's gonna make at least 1 town center. He's got 460 wood left, so we'll have to wait and see what he does with that. If it's just gonna be some houses and market upgrades, or maybe something like training a few siege units like Falconets. So yeah, no military shipment in the third age for Knuschelbär. SoldieR, on the other hand, did send a military shipment. He went for the 8 skirmishers, which are right now in his base, and he's got his SoldieR. He's got his army on the field, his cavalry army. Hussars coming in for another raid. 2 Hussars here, trying to scare away villagers from this mine. Looks like he was even sieging with some dragoons, but yeah, that of course doesn't really do a lot of damage. It's only 10 damage, only a few dragoons. So it's not really a threat to this trade post, but it is a slight annoyance to Knuschelbär. Looks like SoldieR gonna lose a villager there. And SoldieR trying to raid here in Knuschelbär's base, even catching another villager, but taking some damage in return to his Hussars. And it looks like Knuschelbär is now finally finding some good scores. He's finding the villagers from SoldieR that were on this mine, even when there's plenty of safe mines on the west of the map. He's gonna lose a lot of villagers on the east side. He's got no great coats either, which is quite unfortunate, because he's of course got the French villagers. They do have 40% range resist, a lot of hit points, so great coats is a great addition to their already powerful HP pool, but not going for that. We have had a thread on this about this on the forums a few days back about, okay, why do players not research great coats? Well, I kind of have to agree with that thread right now. In these situations, just 75 food spent on an upgrade can save you hundreds of food in terms of lost villagers. So it looks like somebody in the chat said something about crossbowmen to skirmisher card, and it looks like SoldieR does not have that in his deck. This is his deck. He's got a lot of H4 cards though. He doesn't have his H3 filled out at all, which is quite interesting. Most of the time you do see people have the entire H3 row filled out, because that's where most of the games end up in and where most of the games end in. Okay, so what were we seeing here? Another town center went up by Knuschelbär, but it was denied by a cavalry raid from SoldieR. The cavalry and the infantry from SoldieR is now all the way in his base, so this town center will definitely go up. The second one has also started producing villagers, but as you can look in the economic population, he's nowhere near got the villagers that French has, just because the French villagers are way more powerful and Ottoman villagers do train very slowly. Even when you have two town centers, they do train slowly. SoldieR has also got the Lakota settlement, and I'm not quite sure what upgrade he got from that. Let's see, text completed. He's got the hunting grounds, which means he's got the hunts in his base. He sent them, so he can do some safe gathering in his base. Always a good choice. Some Janissaries going into SoldieR's base, gonna be sniped off pretty quickly, but it does give him some information about where SoldieR's military is and where he is heading. So that is some valuable information for Knuschelbär. And it looks like on the west of the map we do have here another raid for Knuschelbär, by Knuschelbär, to SoldieR's gold mining villagers. But they were leaving that mine just in time, and they may not get spotted. I'm not quite sure if they're in range already, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But once again, those villagers are just walking around and they're not doing anything, so they may as well be dead. If they're not going to be mining gold for the next few minutes, it doesn't really matter in that regard. So this is interesting. On the other hand, he does have something going for him, and that is the fact that Knuschelbär's army is getting lured all the way to the south side of the map, and that's all. That time that he buys with this is worth a lot of resources as well. He's even got the time to set up a wall here, which may be a little bit excessive, but he's probably done with all the raids, so he just wants to safely gather, which is why he's adding a wall. It looks like those villagers have now finally been spotted. He should still do a last-minute greatcoats upgrade, I feel like. It may just buy him a few more seconds, which already would be worth it. It looks like if you see the resource count here, Knuschelbär is getting stacked up over 1,000 coin, which means he can send something like Mamluks next. He's now sending 5 Spahis, which are gonna help actually chasing down these villagers here. Those villagers have been all the way from here to the south side of the map, and now actually going to the center, going to his army, and he may even escape with 3 of those villagers back to his base. I think Knuschelbär should quickly pop some villagers in this town center and shoot them down, because the town center has a huge damage bonus against villagers. They can probably one-shot them. Okay, so what we were talking about, Knuschelbär's got a lot of coins stacked up, so he can do something like 4 Mamelukes next. He can also just gather up some more food and train units, of course. SoldieR also got a lot of food and gold stacked up, but he doesn't have enough houses, so he needs to chop some or trade some more wood to keep producing military units. It looks like another raid from Knuschelbär now coming in. SoldieR is a little bit in an awkward position on the left side of the map, whereas this spy raid coming in, just like passing those walls, and well, you're gonna lose a lot of villagers again. I mean, SoldieR's economy is still fine, but he needs to win a fight convincingly if he's gonna keep it that way. He needs to at least crush this military army here by, for example, catching the spy out of position with your big dragoon mass. He's now got 5 gendarmes as well on the field, so as you can see in the military unit population, he's quite a bit ahead. So with some proper positioning and microing, he should come out ahead in this fight, even against some spy. However, he needs to take a fight at some point, because if this game goes on for much longer, Knuschelbär is actually going to be ahead in the economy. He's got the 3 trade posts, he's got 3 town centers, and as you can see in the economic population, he's even ahead right now. So that's not even counting in the trade posts. So yeah, SoldieR is behind right now. I dare to say it. Don't forget that a big portion of his military units are crossbowmen. They are not upgraded to veteran. They are just purely the vanilla crossbowmen, which are not great, especially not against the Abyss guns, for example. So this is still going to be a hard fight for SoldieR, even when he's so far ahead in terms of military unit population. It looks like it's now finally go time. The villagers are going forward. They do now have great coats, 240 HP. Gendarmes coming forward to tank damage and do a lot of damage against those Abyss guns. Dragoons trying to go forward as well, but having a lot of trouble positioning themselves right. Crossbowmen still behind, not really doing damage yet because their range is quite short, and they have a lot of trouble actually getting themselves mixed up in the fight. More gendarmes joining now. They do need to be tasked to some military units. It looks like the military unit population quickly evening out, balancing around 100 population for each player. And it looks like we finally have a big fight coming up. More gendarmes trying to connect to these units, but the trees are just in the way, and it's really hard for SoldieR to get a good positioning. The Spahi are now getting picked off by the dragoons. The big dragoon mass is still there, so he can one-shot the Spahi, but there's still a lot of infantry left, a lot of Abyss guns that are untouched, and Janissaries with big juicy HP bars and melee resist to tank a lot of damage. And this is a really terrible fight for SoldieR, and Knuschelbär is owning it. There's still a Spahi left, snaring those units, which means more kills gonna be made by those Janissaries and Abyss guns. And it looks like the infantry mass, especially the Abyss gun mass of Knuschelbär, has hardly been changed after this fight. And that is not how SoldieR wanted it to go for sure. And I think he's in a pretty terrible spot right now, and it's going to be hard for him to fight back into this game. Still only got the crossbowmen that are unupgraded, the colonial crossbowmen, which are just not on par with veteran Abyss guns and veteran Janissaries, especially with the Janissary combat card on them. Knuschelbär now takes advantage of his military position to take more of the map. He's gonna cross this border here and gonna go to the north side of the map, starting building a stable and an outpost. So he's gonna claim more resources. It's gonna be harder for SoldieR to safely gather, and I think we might see one more fight, but I think it should be a fight that Knuschelbär can win quite convincingly. I'm not quite sure how SoldieR wants to fight back. Maybe a 5 gendarme pop is something that he sees coming, that should save him. A good pop of 5 gendarmes on those Abyss guns can maybe swing the game, but I don't think Knuschelbär will let that happen, especially since he's still got 16 Janissaries on the field, and this is going to be really hard for SoldieR to fight back. Am I from India is being asked in the chat. I'm not quite sure why you would think that. I don't think I sound like I have an Indian accent, but perhaps. I'm Dutch. I'm very Dutch. That's why my name is Ida Holland. So if anything, I should have a Dutch accent and a Dutch voice. What a map, says SoldieR. Well, there's still a lot of resources on your side of the map, as you can see. I'm not quite sure if the map is really... what's the big issue here, after all. Knuschelbär's got the same map on his side. Anyhow, the Lakota dog soldiers are now out for Knuschelbär, and it looks like they don't show up in the UI. That maybe because they're not costing population, but I think other native units do. Maybe they're because they're from a technology and not really from from training the units, especially. But anyway, he's got the dog soldiers now as well, and SoldieR does. So they don't show up in the military unit population, but they are there for both players, evening out this fight again in favor of Knuschelbär. Looks like he's got a pretty good positioning here, catching some of the Abyss guns and Janissaries off guard, where the Hussars and Lakota were on the other side of this trade post socket. But in the end, I don't think it's going to be enough. There's so much stuff left for Knuschelbär. He's got so much cavalry ready to tear apart at those skirmishers and crossbowmen, and SoldieR calling the GG here. We have 1 point going towards Knuschelbär. As you can see here, Ottoman at some point French was never really that far ahead of Ottoman just because of the trade post, and later because of the 3 TCs that Knuschelbär has. Even Knuschelbär gonna be taking him over at the end of the game. Which is also interesting is military unit population, and this was the big fight where SoldieR just had so much trouble trying to connect with the units that Knuschelbär had and the trees blocking him, and just not a great micro management as well. Finding it hard to really use all his units and not just have them stay there and be taken down. This was the first game of Knuschelbär versus SoldieR. By the way, guys, it's not about who wins the series. Well, officially the series doesn't even have a winner. It's just that they're going to be playing 5 games and they have to play all 5 of the games. So it's not a best of 5. It's what's called a play all 5. So they're going to be playing all 5 games, and based on that, both of the teams that they're playing for will score points. And that's basically what they're playing for. Looks like we have some talking in the chat about what happened to the French eco. Yeah, he's got his fill skilled off. Hero locked by SoldieR. Yeah, so how it works is not the winner has to lock first, but one of the teams has to lock first. And this time it was the New World Challengers. So SoldieR has to lock a civilization now first, and Knuschelbär in the 3rd game, SoldieR in the 4th game, and Knuschelbär in the 5th game. And they have to play 3 different civilizations before there is a reset. So those are the rules. Let's see. Yeah, GGs are now in the chat, seeing a lot of GGs. I kind of sad there's no GG emote yet, but we do have IP check and easy, so that kind of makes up for it. Hero has been locked. Knuschelbär looks like you need some time to think about what he's doing. What civilization he's gonna pick? I'm gonna be quickly looking up the map pool for you. Next is Fraser River, which is one of the newer maps. As you can see, it's something we have not seen before yet in other tournaments. Of course, we have seen it before in this tournament, the EPL 2nd. What is the score? It's 1-0 for our boy Knuschelbär or Knuschelbär. You've settled near the Fraser River in British Columbia, Canada. Teams will face off on an opposite side of the river, each having access to our own trade route. Yeah, so the true trade routes that you see, they do seem connected here, but as you can see, the white line is not actually connected between the two, so they both have their own trade route. They're completely separate, so upgrading one doesn't upgrade the other, for example. That also doesn't give you line of sight for the other. So, while resources are abundant, they are found primarily in the river valley. So that is the edges of the map basically, and not really on the white spots in your base. So you have to go out on the map to gather and protect your trade post a little bit, which is always good. There's no treaty fest of staying in your home for 10 minutes. What happened to ESOC Somali? Sompukunku asked us to remove his emote, basically, and since it was his face, it's best to then remove it. It has been removed from Discord and Twitch. So, however, there are plenty of other emotes we can now use. We have the 6 team ones, of course, the cow hacks and the easy, but also the IP check and EP logic, which seem like they fit ESOC well. It looks like Knuschelbär now going for the Russian Civ. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, SoldieR from the one and only clan has greened up against Knuschelbär from the Tortoise clan, and we're going into the second game on Fraser River. This is a series between SoldieR and Knuschelbär. It's pronounced Knuschelbär. Well, it's a German name, and I do know some German, so I know it's not pronounced Knuschelbär, but just for you, I can call it Knuschelbär if you want. Or Cuddlebear. Knuschelbär. Yeah, that sounds much better. The Knuschelbär, of course. I had to make that the meme. In the top of the chat, it looks like now the logos are switched again, so this is great. I need to switch them up again. Let me just do that quickly. Okay, so first in the north of the map we do have Knuschelbär, starting out with a single wood crate and 6 food crates, and in the south of the map we have SoldieR starting out with just 4 food crates and no wood crates for him. So there's not going to be an early trading post for SoldieR or Knuschelbär, so it's going to be a vanilla start of the game, and they're gonna go towards the east of the map because that's where most of the resources are, and that's also where most of the treasures are as well on this map. As you can see, 4 small treasures here, and there are 2, 3, 4 here as well, so it's worth it to go out on the edges of the map. In the center there's not really anything to find for your explorers. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, we're gonna do a quick swap of the icons here, so give me a minute to adjust that. This needs to go here, this needs to go there, and done. That didn't take too long. SoldieR already rescuing a grizzly bear. Well, not really rescuing it, but converting it to his side with his explorer, so has got some extra scouting potential. And Knuschelbär has taken a treasure as well, 90 coin early on, along with 20 coin he's got from a small treasure, a beaver treasure. Gives him 110 coin, which is helpful for getting hunting dogs early on, for example, or your first musketeer badge once you're in the second age. The 90 wood may actually be the best treasure that you can find here. There's explorer HP, which is not terrible. Some small food can help Russia especially. And let's see, another 50 food. So yeah, the 90 wood is definitely a great treasure. 3 cookers is something the Iroquois explorer can handle, especially with the Knuschelbär, the grizzly bear. He's converted. So, and it looks like Russia is gonna take the explorer HP, maybe just because he wants it for himself or to deny it from the Iroquois player. But yeah, he's gonna lose a lot of HP in the process of taking the treasure as well. So after all, he's still gonna be quite damaged when scouting around. He can take with his crack shot another 50 food, which is a good pickup for Russia, of course. SoldieR now got 90 wood, and with that, the H1 is almost over already in terms of treasure contention. Let's take a quick look at the shipments. It's gonna be quite vanilla. The wood trickle and the 3 villagers from the Iroquois player. Looks like 50 food gonna be picked up soon, and another wolf pup. Knuschelbär and SoldieR are now both aging up. SoldieR is aging up with the fast age up politician, it looks like. Let's take a look at text being researched. The wise woman. That's actually not the fast age up politician. It's the one that gives you crates, a lot of crates, 400 resources once you're aged up. So he's gonna save the fast age up politician, probably for going to the third age. the third age takes the longest to research, but using the fast age-up politician sets the research time to a set amount. So by using it to the third age, you actually save the most seconds on aging up. Also, the crates you get when aging up to the second age do help you age up quicker, get up a warhead, market upgrades, trade posts, etc. So if you're definitely planning on going towards the third age, there's probably a better idea to think about using the crate upgrades for going towards the second age. It looks like Knuschelbär just missing a pass here on this trade post, but of course this trade line is quite small, so you shouldn't be too bothered by that. And it looks like SoldieR now getting his first pass on this trade post as well. So both of these players getting their trade post up at the very edge of the map, because that will be the hardest to take down for any military units. Wolves are on the field. 2 wolves, a tame wolf. He's got a name, he's Buck the Tame Wolf, he's just a wolf. And we do have here a cougar and a grizzly bear, a Knuschelbär. Gonna be shut down by his explorer. And it looks like Russia is gonna be building his blockhouse a little bit out front, on the edge of, well, his little base, his snowy upper base here. But not really forward, not really trying to claim the whole map. Just gonna be gathering some resources nearby, so he can hunt these 3 hunts all towards his 1 blockhouse, and that's really good. It means he's got a lot of hunts he can access. He doesn't need a lot of coin to access, because his musketeers will mostly cost food, and his strelets of course as well. So getting a lot of safe hunts is very important. And it looks like SoldieR is getting his warhead in base. So he's going to be defending against any raids that are coming in. It looks like the 5 Cossacks of Knuschelbär are now on the field. And SoldieR has to make sure he doesn't loot any villagers against those. So a warhead in your base can definitely help with that. And yeah, I think this is a pretty good spot that both of these players are now in. No major mistakes happening yet. It looks like SoldieR is getting 1,000 food already. His next shipment is probably going to be 600 coin. Let's see it. It is in his deck. So here's his deck, ladies and gentlemen, especially for Jerome. It looks like Jerome was or Momu, I should say, was interested in seeing SoldieR's decks this game. So there you have it. It looks like SoldieR did use the big button to summon 5 Tomahawks, which will help him a lot for defending against these raids. So that's a nice job. And he's not sending the 600 coin, instead he's sending the 800 resources. It does show up as 600 in the UI, but it is 800 resources, has been buffed in the ESOC patch, and using that to edge up instead. So not gonna use his coin crates, but gonna use the mixed crates instead. He needs to gather for another minute before he can start edging up, but after that he will be edged up quickly by using the fast edge up politician. So what is Knuschelbär doing? He has sent 5 Cossack first. It's a very powerful second age shipment, maybe the best shipment Russia's got. So it mostly helps for securing the map a little bit, and for raiding and harassing your opponent. It did force the big button upgrade for SoldieR. So in that regard, it did pay off. And after that, he sent 700 wood. So with that, he's building a second blockhouse. He's building another trade post, doing some market upgrades as well. So the 700 wood is basically Russia's economy upgrade shipment. It's like what they sent instead of 5 villagers to have a better economy. So the trade posts and the market upgrades do help Russia, but not in the same way as 5 villagers do for Iroquois. But it's their alternative, since they don't have villager shipments. Now sending 700 coin as well, so Knuschelbär is going to go to the third age as well. And it looks like he's got all the food he needs, so in a few seconds he will be clicking up. SoldieR is now 3/4 on the way to the third age, so he can start producing the third age units pretty soon, but he's only got 1 warhead, so he doesn't have the ability to start building cavalry yet. So he's probably gonna build a corral, from his free travois. So once he's aged up, he gets a free travois, and using that to build a corral, and with that he's gonna start training some cavalry. So he's got his Forest Prowlers from here and his Kenya Horsemen or Range Cavalry from his stable. Tomahawks now intercepting the Cossacks again. Not, of course, doing a lot of damage, but taking down some of the HP every hit. So that's quite a good pickup again, especially if you want to know where the Cossacks are. Yes, Knuschelbär is attacking soldiers' trade post here, but it's not really doing plenty of damage, and I doubt that it's actually gonna go down. And the only thing it does for Knuschelbär is showing where his units are. So SoldieR is getting all the time he needs to set up his Kenya Horseman and his Forest Prowler and get in position and take out those units. So yeah, I think this is not a great idea for Knuschelbär. He's losing some HP on the trade post, but SoldieR can just repair that back up again, which I think he will do pretty soon here. So yeah, you guys are now talking about SoldieR's deck in the chat, it looks like, but I want to show you Knuschelbär's deck as well. I think this is fairly normal here. The unique church upgrade is in there. Plenty of AoE3 cards, plenty of military cards as well. 5 military cards in the third age. So Knuschelbär should be in a pretty good spot once he's there. However, he's going to be aged up way later. He also didn't age up with the fast age up politician, probably because he thinks he doesn't really have anything he can do. Oh, there's the unique church upgrade. Okay, is there a church yet? Yet there's a church yet. So it looks like he's gonna do... no, there's no all Strelets to Two Musketeers card in then. Stanley Winston, 100 is one of my favorite casters. Welcome, Stanley Winston, and thank you for the kind words. The church upgrade is in for Knuschelbär. He's gathering up the wood, so I think he will do the Kalmuk upgrade on the church, which sends him 9 Guard Dragoons, I believe. So we have to hold out and wait what exactly is going to be sent here. He's training some halberdiers from his blockhouses as well. SoldieR having a lot of big balls there, taking this trade post right under Knuschelbär's eyes, right next to the blockhouses as well. Gonna take that and steal it from Knuschelbär. Strelets are now upgraded as well, and it looks like the tech completed has been the Westernization that upgrades all your units to veteran status. So he's now got veteran Strelets, veteran halberdiers, and veteran musketeers, and also got veteran grenadiers and veteran Cossacks. But he's got no grenadiers yet, and he's also got no Cossacks yet until he sends something like 6 Cossacks. So not sure if it paid off already. I mean, it's a whole second age shipment and another, I think, something amount of wood. Somebody can probably tell me the exact amount of wood Westernization costs you. 2 Falconers are now out. Gonna have a volley on those Forest Prowlers. No, they actually shot at the Explorer, which can really tank a lot of damage. So that's kind of a wasted shot. Let's see if they can get another shot on those Forest Prowlers. So yeah, Knuschelbär right now has got his Falconets, he's got 2 halberdiers and 9 musketeers left, but he doesn't have a lot of anti-cavalry actually. And if you look at SoldieR's composition, he's got elite Kenya Horsemen, he's got 11 of them, and even got 2 musket riders left as well. So Knuschelbär probably wants to get some more anti-cavalry out if he wants to actually protect these Falconets. So yeah, Duck saying in the chat he's going to be doing Kalmuks, but he's actually not going to do Kalmuks at all. Well, at least not yet. Let's take a look at text completed. Yeah, still just the Westernization. So, going to be the veteran upgrade. So, SoldieR taking another trade post. Knuschelbär may take back this one. Yeah, there we go. So, both players having 2 trade posts again. Both of them. No, SoldieR actually not having Stagecoach yet. He should probably do that. He's gonna have map control over this area for a while. We can probably expect. So Stagecoach at this point is definitely worth it. So yeah, right now Knuschelbär does have more units, but of course they are Russian units, so they're not as strong compared to the Iroquois units. It also looks like he's got more score, but That also is because of the westernization upgrade. 900 wood, guys. Thanks for saying it in the chat. 900 wood is the price of the westernization upgrade. 5 Overknicks are now out for Knuschelbär, but one of them at least already getting killed on their way to Soldier's base. So yeah, Knuschelbär's score is a bit inflated by the westernization, since he's also got upgraded Grenadiers and upgraded Halberdiers and upgraded Cossacks, which are resources he isn't really using. He's not having those units, so those are points that are a little bit of an illusion. It's giving off that he has more strength than he actually has. So important to note. 2 Tomahawks here, lonely in the north of the map, trying to take down a trade post. Actually getting it halfway down, but some Strelets have been sent there to deal with it. Oprykniks now in Soldier's base, and of course these things are extremely powerful against villagers. Let's see if we've got great coach yet. No great coach yet. Which is quite painful, but Musket Riders popping out of the stable and immediately gonna start shooting at them. Nice reaction time from SoldieR there, and it looks like these 5 Oprykniks are kind of wasted right now. They have not really accomplished anything except for distracting SoldieR's army, but in terms of damage, they have not done anything. Is that card actually worth it? People are asking in the chat. No, perhaps not. I mean, a shipment, which is worth 700 resources, plus 900 wood, for basically 3 veteran upgrades. And, well, what is 3 veteran upgrades? One of them is 400 resources. So, it is 1200 resources that he got out of spending 1600 resources. So, no, it's really not worth it. Except if you use all 5 veteran upgrades. In that case, yes, it is worth it. But he's not doing that. He's got no Grenadiers. He's got no Cossacks. So he's got no Halberdiers as well. Well, only 2 of them. So this was definitely not worth it if we just do the math. Okay, so the Falconets are in a pretty great position behind the lake. So it's going to be hard to reach by the Iroquois units. But Iroquois does have a very powerful army. Of course, veteran Strelets have been upgraded with Strelet combat as well. So, all in all, this is quite a powerful army from the Russian player, but I think Iroquois can take it down if he gets good positioning on them. But that's going to be hard because of those lakes, because of the trees and the buildings. It's going to be hard for Iroquois to get a good surround, get a good positioning against those Strelets and Falconets. It looks like more villagers getting killed by the Oprykniks here. Once again, I think these were 5 or 4 Oprykniks, which killed, like, let's take a look at units lost. In total, 7 villagers have been killed. So once again, it's a big resource investment, which I'm not quite sure if it really paid off. I don't think it did. There's a villager here on 6 HP and 2 villagers on 6 HP, which is really sucks for Knuschelbär, not getting it down, but just down to 6 HP. Maybe he can shoot it down with his Explorer at some point. We have a Kenya raid here coming towards the north of the map, taking down, or at least trying to deny this town center here and take down that trade post. And it looks like Knuschelbär has got to send his hero back here to finish the town center and to build that trade post after. So again, SoldieR using his mobility, using his cavalry unit to his advantage. And of course, Knuschelbär's got a very slow army. He's got Strelets, which are infantry units, and Falconets, which are even slower than infantry units. So he's gonna have a real hard time to be out on the map and be everywhere at once. He cannot attack SoldieR while he's attacking, where he's defending his own trade post and town center here. So it's yeah, this is a tough spot for Knuschelbär, I would say. He is a little bit ahead in terms of villagers. Of course, he's got now the second town center as well, and Russian villagers do just train faster. So in that regard, he is ahead. But in terms of military, this is very powerful, and the cavalry hit points is now out as well. So these Kenya horsemen are gonna be tanking a lot of damage. So yeah, this is going to be a scary push, and I'm not quite sure if he's going to have the same positioning as he had here, because it looks like SoldieR is now going to decide where they're going to be fighting. He's got the mobility, he's got the speed advantage, so he's going to decide when and where the fight takes place. And if he does it well, I'm confident then he can win this fight. However, there's always something like boyars, which is again an upgrade to those strelets. So those strelets are very powerful right now. 121 HP doesn't seem great, but if you compare to their cost, it's actually pretty good. And of course, he's still got a unique church upgrade. So if you take a look at text completed, yeah, he's still not done anything. But he can still do either the Kalmuks or the Bashkir ponies, I believe. I'm actually not really know all the statistics of the unique church ability of Russian on top of my head, because I haven't seen it played enough times, basically. So I'm really happy to have you guys in the chat tell me how much resources westernization costs, which is 900 wood. And I think you guys have concluded in the chat as well that it's generally not really worth it. So yeah, I'm really happy to have you guys here as a backup for my knowledge. SoldieR is really passive. Hessa pointing it out in the chat as well. It's like SoldieR has got a military advantage. He had it in terms of population. He has lost it now. But once again, the Russian units are just not on par with the Iroquois units. But he's just so passive. He's not really using all of his mobility. He can be using his Kenya horsemen to raid around here and to send some Kenya horsemen here. And to try and catch those overwhelmings here and deny this wall. But instead he's just having his force powders next to a wall. Gonna kill this one villager. His Kenya horsemen are going to the center of the map where they definitely get spotted and caught by the cavalry archers. His musket riders are now defending against an Opviknik raid. So again, those Opvikniks, those resources are just going to be wasted again. SoldieR's got a town center here as well. So his economy is going to be increasing a little bit. He's going to have a defensive position as well. Can pop his villagers in there. But he's just very passive. He's very defensive. He's stacking up a lot of resources. So is Knuschelbär. Both of them just reach 200 pop at the same time. So right now it's either you're going to be aging, or you're going to be attacking, basically. That's the two flavors you have. So we're going to see which ones they're going to choose. And it looks like SoldieR wants to attack this wall, but he's going to go back and position his army right for when Knuschelbär comes in. So 60 strelets on the field, 4 halberdiers left, just 10 Cossacks, 5 Opvikniks. So not really heavy on the melee cavalry, but he's got 20... cavalry archers, which are now being upgraded as well. So on the arsenal. So yeah, his army is ready, and it looks like he wants to attack, but he's just having so much trouble using his Falconets right. It looks like force powers going in stealth, popping out of stealth, immediately sniping down one of the Falconets. Second one immediately sniped down as well. Gonna be using those secret stealth tactics to just shoot down 2 Falconets. It looks like Knuschelbär, it looks like he didn't really know how to respond. It's just like he went back with all his units, but that was basically the only time he could have engaged with those force powers, because now they will have all the range advantage. There's no more Falconets. The force powers have 20 range against 14 of the Strelets. So I'm not quite sure. Did Knuschelbär have to go back there? Should he have engaged? He's now going to pick another position to fight, but without his Falconets, which is going to be... Well, it's not as scary anymore. There's not really that siege potential, except from some Opvikniks. And there's not really that great anti-infantry damage that the Falconets can provide. So I think right now SoldieR is in a pretty good spot. And I do wish Savory Beef that you would stop spamming the chat with ASCII art. Thank you. But it looks like SoldieR is now going to dictate where the fight happens. I mean, his town center is getting sieged down, yes, but he's got the force powers and the Kenya horsemen coming in. He's trying to defend the raid with his musket riders, and he may definitely catch this military unit composition out of position. On the other hand, he's still got this wall here. Knuschelbär is now edging up, so Knuschelbär probably wants to go back into his base, delay the fight for a little bit more, maybe even do the second westernization upgrade to upgrade all his units to guard, but it looks like he's taking a lot of trouble actually getting back with his army and losing a lot of units in the process. As you can see, the military unit population for SoldieR hardly dropped, whereas Knuschelbär is now below the 100 mark. He's not having full population. Knuschelbär needs to make sure that if a fight happens, he's able to remass quickly. Of course, SoldieR's got warheads, well, I was going to say all over the map, but even he should definitely think about making some more infrastructure because, well, there's 200 pop, but after a fight happens, you need to be able to remass as well because in some cases, the first one who gets a remass after the big fight is the one who can actually win the fight and gain an advantage from there. And it looks like Knuschelbär has got straight up more infrastructure set down. He's got at least 4 blockhouses, a stable, 2 stables, and an artillery foundry. So he's got his infrastructure set up. Okay, it looks like first warriors are now going forward. Knuschelbär is almost H up. He can may H up with another 2 falconets. We will see in just a few seconds what he H's up with. He may even do the Kalmuks or the Beskir ponies, or maybe even the next westernization upgrade, which upgrades his units to guard. Once again, I'm not quite sure how much resources that will cost him, so we'll have to see. It looks like SoldieR doesn't actually want to go in here. He's also Hing up to the 4th age, so he saw those 2 falconets pop out, they took a shot at his force powders, and he decided to back out again. Probably because SoldieR wants to upgrade his units as well before the next big fight happens. So, falconets going forward. Let's take a quick look at techs being researched. Nothing so far, so probably he needs some time to get all the wood he needs. Let's see, techs completed. Yeah, nothing there as well. Champion Tashanka powders, he's now training those again as well. They do have a great anti-cavalry damage if you upgrade them with the tech, but I'm not quite sure if he's gonna do that as well. Tech's being researched, nothing yet as well. He's just gonna do farm upgrade. It looks like we now have another fight coming up. Iroquois in a pretty good position here. A lot of Kenya horsemen are connecting with those strelets, and the falconet damage doesn't really matter if so many of the Kenya horsemen are just smashing down on the strelets. That's actually doing more anti-infantry damage than those 2 falconets are doing on the force powders, especially since the force powders are quite beefy. I think this is a pretty good fight for SoldieR, and looks like he's getting out on top. Knuschelbär doing Industrial Revolution, setting a factory, and SoldieR is doing basically the counterpart of that, sending 1800 resources, which is a factory takes quite a while to deliver that many resources. So it's a great early on shipment in the 4th age if you want to set up infrastructure and upgrade all your units to the guard status. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see if he upgraded his units also. Let's see, text completed. Now, he's not doing the second westernization thing. I'm not quite sure how expensive it is, like I said before, so please tell me. But no guard upgrades yet at all. Veteran strelets still, veteran cavalry archers. And if you just take a look at the military unit composition, SoldieR's got 1800 wood. He's building farms for sure. But he's still stacking up a lot of wood, and he doesn't need so many, even for light cannons and for Kenya horsemen. Light cannons are very scary against the Russian composition right now, though, because if more falconets or heavy cannons come out, those light cannons will outrange both of those units. And light cannons can provide quite decent siege damage, and of course excellent damage against the Strelets. And Strelets is basically the largest part of Knuschelbär's composition. So those light cannons are probably a pretty good choice for SoldieR here. On the other hand, there are the 1 unit that have not been upgraded by any cards. So no infantry or cavalry cards will, of course, increase the stats of those light cannons. Let's take a look at attacks completed. Yeah, so steam power, so he's upgrading his factories. He's got 2 factories in the back of his base, producing coin for him, because of course plantations are quite expensive platforms. So you don't want to build too many plantations, so having factories on coin will help with that. So it looks like Knuschelbär may get caught here by these forest prowlers, but once again he's just in time of running back. Both of the players have now walls set up on the two edges of the map, the two flanks, so only the center is wide open, and SoldieR is able to go through the center with his light cannons, his field cannons now. They have been upgraded to the guard status, which is called field cannons. And they have started sieging down a trade post here and a blockhouse here. It looks like they're now going forward and gonna kill off more buildings if Knuschelbär lets it go unchecked. And at some point, SoldieR is gonna force a fight out of Knuschelbär, because he's gonna keep sieging. He's got the range advantage. It's gonna be hard for Knuschelbär to prepare for this fight against light cannons. The only thing he can do is have culverins. Looks like he's even got the culverins upgraded. Text completed. Culverins Royale. He specifically upgraded the culverins. That's a big investment for just 2 units. And let's see if they can actually take off a shot. It looks like the Kenyan Horsemen immediately getting on top of the culverins, taking them both down. So those culverins have accomplished nothing except for luring away SoldieR's army there. But that's quite a big waste, and not something you want to see. On the other hand, a lot of Cossacks on top of these forest powders, and now gonna get on top of the field cannons as well. And this looks actually like some kind of a comeback from Knuschelbär. Military unit population way ahead for Knuschelbär now, and the light cannons all destroyed, so those culverins were not necessary, and the guard upgrade was definitely not necessary there. The guard upgrade was just there to tank one more hit from the Kenyan Horsemen. Anyhow, Knuschelbär is coming out this fight on top. The Cossacks did a lot of damage there against the forest powder and light cannon mass, because all the cavalry units were on top of those culverins. So after all, they did pay off, but once again, not by really doing damage, but by distracting the enemy. Looks like SoldieR now wants to go for Bastion and try to upgrade his walls, but it's not going to be in time. Those walls are going to be down before the upgrade is finished, which means 1,000 resources he sank into that upgrade going to be basically wasted. So that's quite a bad spot for SoldieR, and he's going to be really struggling now. As I said before, he doesn't really have the infrastructure to create new units. I said that a few minutes ago. It looks like he's just now adding more warheads, but he should have those ready when he started attacking, because you do need reinforcements. Unless you're going to win the whole game by just one fight, but that's hard to do at this point in the game. So looks like SoldieR throwing a lot of units against his army, but just one by one. So a few forest powders or tomahawks come out of the town center or come out of the warheads, and they're going to be fighting, and they get taken down, and then more forest powders join the fight and get taken down, and it's not really an effective fight. On the other hand, it seems like it's stabilized a little bit. If you take a look at the military unit population, which is quite a big factor at this point of the game it looks like it's evening out. And right now, the infrastructure that SoldieR has, the plantations and the farms, do pay off for him. It's good that he has got it all set up so he can keep producing units at this point. His bastion may now pay off as well. Looks like he's gonna add 2 more walls. So at least through here, Knuschelbär is not going to be attacking anytime soon. That's going to be really hard for him. And through here as well, there's also walls set up. So the battle is really going to come through the center of the map, and right now it looks like SoldieR is slowly getting back into it after he really lost that fight. There's blockhouses here set up. They have the range advantage, well, the range upgrade as well, so Knuschelbär should have no trouble scouting out when and where SoldieR attacks. It's just going to be a question of the positioning and who is actually going to find out here the first. Like, is Knuschelbär gonna try and attack with his army, or is SoldieR gonna have some light cannons set up here to make it possible for Knuschelbär to go in? Looks like Knuschelbär once again getting some Cossacks in the mix, which really helped him in this fight that happened here a few minutes ago. Those Cossacks have been very well upgraded. Boyars, Team Cavalry Scouts, Cavalry Combat, the Arsenal upgrade, the Range, and the Guard upgrade. So all in all, really beefy units for their cost. So but just 9 Cossacks is probably not going to be enough to take down this army. It looks like we now have a 3-unit composition from the Russian player coming again against the 2-unit composition that Iroquois has. And yeah, let's see how this fight will evolve and who's gonna come out on top here. More Black Houses being added by Knuschelbär during the fight. He's got the Cavalry Archers, which do extremely well against the Kenya Horsemen, but of course those Forest Prowlers are still superior to the Svelets. They do just have more, like 50% more of the damage, so it's still going to be a tough fight for Knuschelbär here. Looks like more Cossacks coming in from the flank. Some Tomahawks are there to defend his Forest Prowlers, but of course the Cossacks do have the speed advantage. Can go around the Tomahawks and doing a lot of damage against the Forest Prowlers here, tanking a lot of damage as well. Looks like more reinforcements from soldiers joining in. As you can see, he's getting outnumbered here in the fight, but overall he's getting ahead of Knuschelbär in terms of military unit population. Let's see, text completed. Yes, there it is. The second westernization upgrade, which is Patching Reforms. Somebody please tag me in the chat at @EDHolland and tell me what this costs and whether it's worth it. Because I cannot do the math during a stream. It's probably gonna be a little bit too difficult. So yeah, the Patching Reforms is the second unique church upgrade for Russia. You can do it in the 4th age and upgrades all your units to guard status. So guard Obrigniks, guard cavalry archers, guard grenadiers, guard pikemen. Wait, what? Guard pikemen? Russia doesn't have pikemen, does it? Is that for halberdiers? What is guard pikemen? Somebody tell me. And guard strelets. So that is why his score is also really inflated. So this score should be taken with a grain of salt. It looks like we now have another attack. Light cannons, field cannons are now in soldiers' composition again, which of course do extremely well against the Svelets. The Tomahawks are touching the cavalry archers and the Cossacks here, so doing good melee damage and tanking those melee shots from them. And it looks like SoldieR has stabilized here. He's ahead in military unit population again. And it looks like he's got a fairly decent composition as well. He's got the infantry mass. Of course, infantry for Iroquois can be very well upgraded by cards and upgrades. He should also have his hero revived at some point to provide another boost to his infantry units. And he's got the light cannons, which do really well against infantry and for sieging. He basically forces Knuschelbär to respond with these field cannons. Yeah, another 2-call conference. I was just gonna call it. Knuschelbär's probably gonna make another 2-call conference, and yeah, he does. And it looks like he's learned from his mistake. He's not gonna get them caught out of position this time. He's gonna set them on this edge, which is gonna be really hard to reach by any units from SoldieR. It also means they have less vision, less mobility, and it's gonna be harder for Knuschelbär to actually use them against the field cannons, because the field cannons can just go a little bit to the left here, and they're out of range of the conference. Looks like we now have another out-of-position fight for SoldieR. More Cossacks coming in. Too little anti-cavalry damage. The Cossacks are on top of the Forest Prowlers. Some Cossacks are trying to get to the field cannons, which is proving hard. But the Cossacks tanking a lot of damage from those Forest Prowlers. And once again, Knuschelbär trying to have his conference go forward. And I think he got one shot off on those field cannons, but once again, one of the culverins immediately getting sniped down by the cavalry. Ah, thanks, duck. Okay, so Patching is worth... Patching costs 25,000 coin. And it is worth it, is what they're saying. So it's what Duck is saying. Yeah, that's basically because 25,000 coin is not really that much, since a guard upgrade, a royal guard upgrade, costs you 2,000 resources. So if you do just two unit upgrades with it, it's already worth it. Okay, so once again, yeah, I'm still H1, I know. So that's because I'm casting. So, yeah, guard pikemen. Tell me in the chat what that means, if that's for halberdiers or not. So what's happening here still, SoldieR pushing out with his infantry composition, Forest Prowlers being the main damage dealer, field cannons there to siege and do anti-infantry damage and to lure out Knuschelbär, and the Tomahawks basically to protect against cavalry archers and Cossacks. So, yeah, it looks like still SoldieR slowly making progress. Getting to the front, he is now in Knuschelbär's base, on this side of the map at least. Once again, Cossacks coming in from a flank. There's Tomahawks going all the way to the right here. And just with one good flank from Knuschelbär, it looks like he's trying to turn the tables a little bit. Wolves being put out of the war chief here. And did just more force powder spawn or something? I think they glitched out of each other. They were staying in front of each other. So there's still a pretty good fight for Knuschelbär. Once again, just a few more of those good flanks, and that is enough to turn that fight around. Both of these players have a lot of resources stacked up, as you can see. So a big matter right now is who can produce the units the fastest and make good use of them for actually getting ahead. So one of the things you can do, and one of the things that may even should do, is Knuschelbär, for example, sending in a few Obvekniks to raid around and to kill off some villagers of SoldieR. Another thing they can just do is try to slowly creep forward and win more terrain, but oh, did I say 25,000 coin? Yeah, that's a lot of coin. That's definitely not worth it. Of course, I did mean 2.5k coin. So, 2,500 coin. So, sorry for that. Okay, so it looks like Knuschelbär is turning this slight advantage he had here into maybe even a victory here. SoldieR is still spamming units against this. He's still got some resources stacked up, but once again, he's just sending out those units one by one, 5 by 5 actually, into the army of Knuschelbär, which makes the trade very efficient for Knuschelbär. And he's got a big cavalry mess. He's got 33 Cossacks. I'm not quite sure if SoldieR can ever take down all those Cossacks. They're in SoldieR's base right now, raiding left and right. There are some musket riders from SoldieR trying to take them down, but it's really micro-intensive to focus down all the Cossacks, and it's not really micro-intensive to just click on your enemy's base with your Cossacks and say, okay, just raid around. So that's going to be hard for SoldieR to deal with. Meanwhile, he's here still getting killed quite hard here. The units do pop out of the warheads. Like I said, he's still got quite a bit of resource in his bank, but they immediately get killed off by the army of Knuschelbär, and it looks like he may actually be able to turn this into a victory here. This was quite a back and forth game so far, so we can still expect anything to happen, but at some point you will have to admit that it may actually be over. So yeah, this is going to be quite hard for SoldieR to deal with. And of course, the score indicates that Knuschelbär is way ahead, even farther ahead than he probably is. But it is still a moral defeat if you see your enemy have 200 score more than you. It's still something that sits in your head, and it's probably really hard to think rationally when you see your enemy score being 200 points ahead and think, oh, okay, that's probably just because he sent a card and he did an upgrade, and it's just an illusion, it's inflated score. That's still hard, so the GG is now called here by SoldieR. He's not gonna get himself out of this fight. So after 40 minutes, this is how long it takes to set up a treaty game, guys. SoldieR is now admitting defeat. And it looks like Knuschelbär winning his second game here in the play all 5. I'm gonna go to resource gathered, which is not probably that interesting. It's Russia being a little bit ahead all game, which is probably what we can expect from their faster training villagers. Military unit population is really hard to see as well, but I think this fight was one of the more decisive ones. You can just see SoldieR losing all of his units against just a few losses from Knuschelbär, which is really hard to come back from. I'm gonna go back into the lobby. After that, I'm gonna... Oh, there's somebody else in there. I'm gonna be gone for 1 minute and have a toilet break, and I see you guys in 1 minute. Keep talking, and we will be back with you shortly. Okay, guys, I am back. Please age up next game. I will try, Tygan. You're watching the wrong stream. No, you're not. This one's great. I actually had a lot of fun these past 2 games. I think they were pretty prime Age of Empires 3 in some regards. Basically, you have little skirmishers in the second age, and after that it goes to the fortress age and plays out further there, more battles, and then in the fourth age the game finishes. I mean, this one was a little long, of course, but I do like to see more of the game being utilized. And for example, them utilizing the natives on the map and utilizing the unique church cards, which is something you definitely do not see every game. It's very interesting to me. So why not make a stream squad for who wants to watch both? I think there's something like parallel streams or something. There's a feature, a website you can go to watch 2 streams in parallel on the same screen. But not quite sure why you would want to watch 2 casts at the same time. So you guys tell me, in this last game, where exactly did SoldieR have his window and when did it close? Because it was a 40-minute game and both players definitely had their windows to win. SoldieR definitely had a window to win, but I'm finding it hard to pinpoint exactly when he had his chance and what went wrong there. And I do see some comments about SoldieR did fine, except from not crossing the map. That's something Wicked says. So yeah, that's one of the things, like I said as well. I think he was a little bit too passive and didn't really use his mobility of his cavalry, for example. Yeah, there's multistreams.com, Bramboy, exactly. That's what I mean. I'm not quite sure what you guys mean with Stream Squad. Let me know what that actually is, if that's a thing. How was your huge poopy? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. But I just drank some water, for example. Not too crazy. What is the score? It's right now 2 points for Knuschelbär. It looks like it's Knuschelbär has to pick first. So your voice is superb. Please sing for us, lol. I'm not quite sure if I like talking and having a certain voice doesn't really mean that you can sing. Singing just uses another part of your voice, which is something that has not really developed as well in my body. I was gonna do a ESOC rap at some point. I wanted to write a rap song about ESOC and like basically include all the drama in there and just make fun of everyone, just roast people. But you know, quarantine does these things to you, and after a while you just start casting instead. So those still deciding between watching this stream and watching ESOC TV 2, don't forget that all these streams will be uploaded to YouTube. So whatever you watch now, you can always switch. You can always watch back the other one in a few days, I would like to say. More realistically, it may be a week or two before it's uploaded to YouTube. Okay, send me a direct message, Speckless, preferably on Discord. The Twitch direct message function is like not something I really check every day. Okay, Tygan, instead of singing, how about I do a face reveal just for you? Is that better? Score. Sir Colin is asking, thank you for changing the subject. It's 2 points for Knuschelbär, 2-0. Of course, it doesn't matter who actually is winning the series. It's more about who gathers the most points. Can you make the Dutch fill sounds? Now, that's something I can do. Dutch fills, for example, when they are being tasked towards food, they say verzamelaar. Or when they're tasked to a mine, they say handelaar. Or when you want them to attack, they say aanvallen. So, yeah, that's something. What do you think of the Dutch Eurovision song this year? I think the Holland should take no more part in the Eurovision Song Festival. I really dislike it, and I'm happy that this year it's actually cancelled. I'm not happy why it's cancelled, but I'm happy it's cancelled. Squad stream lets 4 creators go live and stream together in one window. It shows your community every moment of the team's Battle Royale match. It sounds like something for PUBG or Fortnite, but once again, send me a direct message on Discord if you want, and I will check it out. It looks like we're now going to be talking about the game again, no longer going to be talking about the chat. I dislike that. Knuschelbär has picked Japanese on the map Dhaka, and SoldieR has picked Aztecs. And for those who want to, for those who have seen the stream all day, they have seen Daruka versus I'm Turk, which also played out on Dhaka, and also Japanese versus Aztecs, if I'm correct. I haven't seen all the games today, but I have seen some, and that's one I definitely remember. So, not actually sure how it played out. I think Japanese did win in the end, but I'm not 100% sure, so tell me. Let's see if the logos are now correct again. No, they are not correct again. Let's fix that and set this one here and set this one here. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Those logos have to be switched from time to time. They're not really part of the UI. They're just, I've set them manually. What are we waiting for? We're no longer waiting. We're getting into this game, and it looks like we're getting up our crates. A 300 wood start for Knuschelbär and a 5-second delay on tasking his villagers. And he's going immediately to chop some more wood because he wants to get up a consulate and a shrine, I assume. We don't want a face reveal. Okay, well, I guess not then. And in the top of the map, we have a lot of stray yaks, stray cows. I will refer to them probably a little bit easier. And those yaks are pretty good for both, well, pretty much for every civilization, of course. The Japanese civilization can use those yaks to task them on shrines, which will generate more resources for them. And the Aztecs player can just gather them up normally and get some food from them, a little bit of a food bonus. And I'm not quite sure if Knuschelbär exactly knows how this map works, but SoldieR is going to take all these yaks. I mean, Knuschelbär does have a tamed tiger, and with that he can actually scout out the yaks. So it looks like Knuschelbär has got one of the yaks in his possession. SoldieR has got 3, is now going to take a 4th one, probably a 5th one, and yeah, it's going to take 5 of these yaks. So, pretty good start for SoldieR, I would say. Gonna get a 40 wood treasure as well, and a converted lion. So all in all, pretty good start for him. On the other hand, a 300 wood start is quite good for the Japanese civilization, because with that, he's gonna be... Actually, he didn't go for a consulate and an early shrine like I expected him to do, but looks like he went for trading post instead. So with that, we'll have to see if he even goes for the more standard age up It looks like he doesn't go for Heavenly Kami, for example, but he goes for 3 fishing boats instead. So, yeah, quite important to note that. He's not going to go for the full shrine boom. He's going to go for a more European boom, so to say. More fishing boats and trade boats orientated. Pretty fun. Edo replying to the chat. Yeah, I really like replying to the chat. And that's why I kind of dislike the 2-minute delay. Of course it's necessary, but I do still dislike having it on because it means it's a lot harder to reply to anything being said. Okay, so Knuschelbär fighting out this line here with 10 HP left, but getting taken down by Matt, which is, I think, the name of Give You Anxiety in real life, and the name of his hero here in this game. Oh no, that's called Mark, sorry. It's his own name then, perhaps. And it looks like Knuschelbär gonna take some small treasures here in the game as well. Knuschelbär's got all ore locations, 50 coin, a population cap increased by 5, but well, honestly, it's not that useful for the Japanese civilization to have 5 more population cap, because they're Japanese. They're gonna be building a lot of shrines, regardless of their strategy. They will probably have enough population most of the time. So, Matt here trying to take an 80 wood, which looks like a little bit of a lag spike. Oh, it wasn't a lag spike. He was just doing nothing with his hero. I thought he would go for this treasure immediately, but it looks like he's now gonna take an 80 wood treasure, gonna tank some damage with his lion, and do the rest of with his hero here. Yeah, this is quite an easy wall for any player, right? Like, walling off this pond is just a really easy way to make sure that it's basically possible to rush your other player, except if you go all the way over here, which is something we do see players doing. But it's a little bit more awkward. It can get scouted out by trade posts easier, and even this can get walled off, and it's just a longer distance to watch your enemy. So really rushing, really doing a fast rush is really hard when there are walls put up here. It looks like both players actually doing that. So 2 walls for SoldieR and 2 walls for Knuschelbär here. And it looks like neither of the players have the intention to actually rush, which can be... Okay, so SoldieR actually 8-stop with the 2 Warhead Traffa. I did kind of miss that. I expected him to go for something else than the fast 8-stop politician, but it looks like the 2 Warheads. And oh, it has been scouted out by Knuschelbär's hero here, by Kushal, who was taking a 45 food treasure. So it's quite unfortunate for SoldieR. He has got 2 Warheads set up, but because Knuschelbär scouted it out, he can probably respond better to it. But it looks like SoldieR still's got no intention to rush, because he set up walls here himself instead of trying to block these walls, for example. So it is a little bit awkward for him in this position. I want to see if SoldieR wants to go for the trade line. Yeah, it looks like he's going to take at least one of the trade posts here. Very well defended, of course, by the 2 Warheads, so that's quite an easy pickup. And the one in the back, of course, is defended just by the sheer amount of traffic you need to go through. You need to go through this entire trade post line to take this one down, so it's going to be really hard for Knuschelbär to ever take that down, unless he's got full control of the map. So in terms of economy, Knuschelbär has 8-stop with the Tushuko Shrine, so he's got the bonus to his shrines. He just doesn't have Heavenly Kami, so he doesn't have the full shrine boom potential. But he's gonna still be building shrines. He's sent the 600 wood and the 4 villagers after, like a good Japanese player should. And he's gonna be building some more shrines next to the hunts to get some more eco up. Puma Spearmen are now out for SoldieR. He's got them trained. He's not sent them from his home city. Instead, he sent villagers. So he's going to be trying to stay on par with the Japanese economy here and not get out eco too much. And Puma Spearmen have a very high siege attack. I believe they may even have the highest siege per population of any unit. But but definitely a very high siege attack. And going to be quickly taking down this trade post, but still 2 of them at least are going to be lost here by this Ashigaru fire, and now a third one going to be shot here. So he did lose 3 Puma Spearmen here. Let's take a look. Oh, 2 Puma Spearmen. Yeah, 3 got away, of course, against these Ashigaru. But taking down that trade post is definitely a good pickup. Especially since the trade card has been researched, which is the stagecoach, basically. It's a little bit awkward, but you can take a look at the tracks and see that if there are 2 separate tracks right next to each other, that means it has been upgraded. That's one of the things you can read off. Ashigaru and Jumi are going towards the north of the map, maybe to just secure this hero here, or secure the trade post foundation, but I'm not quite sure what exactly he wants to do with it. He probably knows he cannot go and walk in here, because 2 warheads does provide some decent fire, so it's a little bit awkward to go into there. And sieging down his wall is a little bit pointless as well, so he just secures his hero instead. Okay, so what's next? 3 warrior priests from SoldieR. After that, another 600 wood. So he's now got 5 and now building his 6 warrior priests. So Aztecs is doing their default warrior priest boom, which basically means you send out 3 of them and then you train until you have 10 warrior priests. And after that, you'll have a huge XP bonus. So you can start dancing with 10 warrior priests on XP, and you'll have a lot of more shipments coming in. And if you have them dancing on fertility, then you'll have a really fast training speed, for example. You can also survive your hero with it, or give it more HP. So lots of good potential from this Aztec War fire pit, but it's just a matter of when are you going to invest in that, because it takes a few minutes before you can train all 10 of those, and in those 10 minutes you basically don't have any value yet out of those warrior priests. So you need to dedicate some time to getting them all. Looks like SoldieR pushing out with his army a little bit. Not quite sure if he actually wants to attack or just take this trade post and defend. Because, quite honestly, SoldieR is in a pretty good spot here to just defend. Oh, 1 Shinobi no Mono here in stealth, scouting out exactly where SoldieR's units are. And that means it's go time for Knuschelbär. He's got some Naginata riders. He sent a daimyo as well. So he probably thinks it's go time now. He's getting this army caught out of position, but it looks like it's able to run back quite comfortably here next to the 2 warheads, which is quite scary to push into, of course. Not just the fire, but the potential of something like 6 Puma Spearmen suddenly popping out, or maybe the big button upgrade from the town center, giving him Jaguar Prowl Knights. That's just the potential alone is quite scary to push into. It looked like his Ashigaru and Yumi still do decent damage against the Coyote, so I'm not quite sure if SoldieR actually wants to push out here. He's got the trade post, so now Knuschelbär is the one who has to dedicate time towards killing that, and he's still got this position here, and maybe he needs to revive his hero at some point. So yeah, that's a little bit. It's a little bit of a question, like how far does he want to go in? Does he want to secure this trade post at all costs, or just reserve his army for later? Looks like Knuschelbär is now getting the resources to age up at some point. 1500 food. He's a little bit mismacroed here. 1500 food and just 500 coin. Looks like he still wants to age up based on his resources, but he's just way off with his food count. So probably needs to reconfigure that a little bit, and if he actually wants to age up at some point. SoldieR is now dancing with the full 10 warrior priests. He's now got it on the attack, the military dance, which increases the attack of his units, which is quite influential if you do it during a battle. But, well, you need to be fighting, so let's see if he actually goes in for a fight here. 9 Meteorhalten have now been shipped as well, so 40 maces are on the field for SoldieR. It looks like he wants to go in now. There are a lot of trees in the way, so he may have a good chance of blocking out those Naginata riders and just win it purely on his ranged units. But then again, Yumi do have a little bit of a range advantage here, so he needs to make sure his Mace Halton can actually do damage against Knuschelbär's units. It looks like he's ready to go in here. The Coyote runners are now going into Knuschelbär's base, gonna try and catch some villagers. They're gonna go into his town center, of course. You need to make sure he doesn't get caught out of position, because it's going to be really hard for him to escape. He cannot escape through the south here, so he needs to make sure he's always got a way back into back to his base. Okay, it looks like we now finally have a big fight coming up. The Puma Spearmen are trying to connect with the Naginata Riders, doing a lot of damage. Coyote Run is quickly getting shot down by other Ashigaru fire. They have a lot of ranged hand attack against those semi-cavalry units. Mason Haltons are still there on the field, but the few Naginata Riders are enough to take him down and tank a lot of damage. There are still 5 Puma Spearmen left, but they're attacking some Minutemen units here. And overall, this is a pretty good fight for SoldieR, I think, but I'm not quite sure if this is the fight he wanted. Let's see what the follow-up is after this. He's still got a little bit of a military unit advantage here. So only 16 Ashigaru for Knuschelbär left. So I think SoldieR came out of this fight just fine, but I'm not sure if this was the fight he really wanted to have out of his the big military population lead that he had. Now sending Coyote Combat next for just the 8 Coyotes that he has. So it's not great, not terrible. And it looks like Knuschelbär is going to send more unit shipments in a row. So now 5 Yumi are next, which of course not the ideal shipments that you want to send. Maybe something like Ashigaru attack would have been better here, since he's already got 20 of them on the field. Yeah, it looks like SoldieR should just push out right now, I think. I mean, SoldieR has got a little bit of a habit, it looks like, of being a little bit too reserved and a little bit too passive. And I think SoldieR needs to make sure that he uses his advantage, his military advantage, to his advantage, and actually attack with it. He's now sending another 5 Coyote Runners, which is actually 6 Coyote Runners, and he's got them upgraded already. He's got, he's getting his War Chief back into the game. He's 4.5 speed, but moving very slowly. It looks like once it's back into the game... Why is it moving so slowly? It's like a reverse pull trick. So once he's got that revived and back to full HP, he can start dancing for the attack dance again. He's got 3 trade posts set up. He's got them upgraded as well. Knuschelbär is now aging up to the 3rd age. So finally, going to use the Shogunate to age up to the 3rd age, which will give him an XP bonus. And I think a daimyo as well. So it's gonna be a timing for SoldieR right now. He's got a big military unit population lead. He's got his Coyote Runners upgraded. He's able to dance on everything. I mean, he can't just sit back on his 3 trade posts and think, okay, I've probably got an economic advantage, let's just sit back. But at some point, Knuschelbär is going to be in the 3rd age, is able to upgrade all his units. And Japanese in the 3rd age, that's quite a scary thing. And it looks like SoldieR is now training some canoes from a dock instead, chopping a lot of wood to build a few canoes. And, well, honestly, I think 1 canoe would have been enough. I mean, 1 canoe means, okay, you're not gathering from the sea anymore at all. Like, why do we need 3 of them? I'm not quite sure. So it looks like Knuschelbär is now pushing out, even though it's a big military deficiency. Probably because he just wants to lure out SoldieR, maybe to take a bad fight, or wants to make sure that SoldieR wastes more time on these walls instead of pushing out here where he was. He was with his army in the north of the map, but now he's going to be sieging those walls, which gives Knuschelbär more time to upgrade his units. He's now in the 3rd age, is immediately going to click up to the Disciplined Ashigaru and the Disciplined Naginata Riders, so he's going to have 3rd age upgrades. And yeah, now SoldieR has to siege down this wall instead of just pushing out here where his army was. SoldieR now doing schooners as well. So he's got 1 dog, he's going for schooners. He has a big military lead and should probably just push out. But okay, maybe he has no other units in his deck. I still think he could just have sent 600 coin and either train more units or just straight up age up, because he's got the resources to age up if he had sent 600 coin instead. But okay, it looks like he's going for fishing boats. He's probably dancing for the fertility dance, because those fishing boats are streaming out of his dock at quite a high speed. This does explain why he's built 3 canoes, because he probably just wanted to secure the sea like really secure it and not just scare away the fishing boats before committing to schooners. But still, this is quite a big resource investment. Well, who should just push out? I mean, you had a window. The window, most of the time when your enemy is aging up, that is your window. That basically means you should now push out because your enemy has spent 2,000 resources on aging, which means 2,000 resources have not been spent on actually units and on military units and on infrastructure. So that is your time to push out when your enemy is aging. And he knew Knuschelbär was aging, or he could have known by just scouting it out and see just seeing your enemy and seeing their military composition, you can probably scout out the fact that they're aging. But now Knuschelbär is in the third age. He's settling in. He's adding more walls. Adding a town center here as well to make sure that he can defend this big pond in the center and nothing like... I'm not quite sure why exactly, because soldiers probably not gonna... Well, he may actually send 4 war canoes here. So, good call. Making a town center here. Should build it with some villagers as well. And 2 heroes. But yeah, he's now also gotten out 2 flaming arrows. And gonna start sieging down those warheads that were placed there at the start of the game. SoldieR is now in the third age as well. He's getting out quite a lot of fishing boats. Looks like Spirit Medicine, the great codes for native units, also affects fishing boats, which is interesting. But yeah, he's now got a lot of economy. Instead of using his military advantage to actually fight, he used it to boom, basically, to get a better economy, which it can work out, but against this Japanese third age army, it's just really scary. He's got a lot of Ashigaru now. He's got the 2 flaming arrows, the daimyo still in the back here. And yeah, this is just a really good time for Knuschelbär to push in. And, well, I'm not quite sure what SoldieR's plan was here exactly. Like, does he want a big boom? Why not add a few walls then? Does he want a military advantage? Why not push out when you have the advantage? I'm finding it hard to predict what's happening. So yeah, so 4 more flaming arrows now trained by Knuschelbär from his castle. That's why he added a castle here. So a total of 6 flaming arrows. And until SoldieR has got arrow knights, there's no reliable way for him to take down those flaming arrows, like ever. Until, of course, he can get a good surround on them, but on this map it's really hard to flank your opponent and get a good surround, just because there's the water and there's the walls and a lot of buildings and trees. So, yeah, those flaming arrows are very scary for SoldieR. Gonna do a lot of siege damage, a lot of anti-infantry damage, and infantry is the biggest part of SoldieR's composition. He's got 20 coyote runners. They have been upgraded. They are now elite coyote runners, as his Pumice Spearmen and Meso Halton are as well. But then again, it's still gonna be hard for him to actually take down those flaming arrows if those coyote runners don't suddenly go into stealth. He's got a lot of boats on the water now. He's got a lot of resources in his bank as well, but is he gonna train units quickly enough, even with the warrior priest? Is he actually gonna be housed at some point? It looks like he's almost got a 200 population. I think at some point SoldieR should secure his base and make sure not everything gets sieged down and just push in. But he's still finding it really hard to find a good spot to push in. He's now on the warrior dance. He is dancing for his unit stats. There are a few eagle runner knights out, which is a ranged cavalry alternative for the Aztec civilization, and they can probably do pretty well against the flaming arrows as well. But they just need to get close to them and actually get into range. Looks like some arrow knights are now out, so that's basically what he needs against the arrow knights. But so yeah, arrow knights against flaming arrows. The arrow knights are sometimes sending flaming arrows, but okay. It looks like now finally he's going in. Those arrow knights not taking down the flaming arrows yet, but it is down to 5 flaming arrows. It looks like it's now finally go time. Pumice Spearmen and coyote runners coming forward. Skull knights out as well. 4 skull knights being sent by the home city, and everything is smashing into each other. All the melee units from Aztecs are doing their work right now. 4 spoilers from the big button also coming in as well. Pumice Spearmen are on top of the units. Ashigaru cannot run away. All the flaming arrows being taken down. The Naginata Rider is being taken down by the Puma Spearman as well. And I think SoldieR has got this game in the pocket. Yeah, he had a really nice round there. And basically a lot of home city shipments and big buttons and batches of units all surrounding this army at once. And once those melee units are in contact with your units, it's really hard to escape because of something we call the snare mechanic. So yeah, this is really hard for Knuschelbär to recover from. And as you can see quickly, this game is totally in SoldieR's pocket. It's just SoldieR has just got to push out, man. That's what you see. If once SoldieR attacks, he can win those fights, but sometimes he takes a little bit too long to actually push out, I feel. So, looks like SoldieR now finally ahead. His Puma Spearman quickly taking down this Toshugo Shrine. After that, gonna go for probably the Consulate or the Town Center, or just going back securely and keep them as anti-cavalry damage. So, yeah, now SoldieR probably gonna take it relatively slow. Gonna slowly push into Knuschelbär's base. He just has to make sure he doesn't get caught out of position as well, or something. Because if he doesn't, if he plays this well, he can probably have this game. So, let's go, everyone says in the chat. Yeah, once you're max pop, basically just push out. Okay, so the second town center here getting sieged down by those Puma Spearmen, 70 Puma Spearmen. Doing crazy damage against this town center with their 60 siege attack. Yeah, Eagle Runner Knights and Mesa Halton, pretty good combination. It's basically the Skirm Goon of the Aztecs, and gonna do plenty of damage against these Yumi archers. On the other hand, there are only 2 Coyote Runners left. There's a lot of resources in SoldieR's bank. He's got so many fishing boats, so many villagers. Definitely should use those resources. If you set your warrior priest on fertility dance, you should never not have 200 out of 200 population with so many resources in your bank. So please spam out some more Coyote Runners, and then you can finish this game. Because, well, he could probably finish this game, but he needs to actually do it. The biggest part of Knuschelbär's army is his Yumi archers. He's got 25 Yumi archers. So 10 or 20 Coyote Runners can make all the difference in this game. Not just by their tanking the damage and doing damage against the Yumi, but also by snaring them down and making sure your other melee units can actually get in range and do their damage. So yeah, should definitely make some Coyote Runners, I feel like, to try and finish this game. He's still building some farms, which is okay, but it's also a little bit questionable since he's got so much food stacked up already. There's still plenty of fish in the sea, as the metaphor goes. So, yeah, what I want to see out of SoldieR right now is just spend your resources on either infrastructure to train more units or on actual units. Just make sure you get your mass back up. Make sure you get 200 out of 200 population. Looks like he's now going to do the water dance. So that allows him to dance for his water units, so for his canoes, his war canoes. He doesn't have... Oh yeah, there he did. He sent the Tlaloc canoe upgrade from his dock, which for 200 food, 2,000 food sends you 4 of these very powerful canoes. It looks like he's gonna be dancing for his canoes as well, and as you can see, 260 siege attacks. So this town center actually getting shot down by the Tlaloc canoe. So that's actually pretty powerful card. I didn't know he would utilize it to this extent. So that's quite good for him. Even taking down 2 shrines and a stable here. Maybe even taking down this shogunate. Just with his Tlaloc canoes. And, well, I don't think he should actually... He doesn't have to actually go forward here with his units. Because, well, you're fine. You're killing him from the water. This shogunate is quite huge. Getting a stable down for the short term is also a good pickup. A lot of XP gained here as well. So, yeah, these canoes definitely paid off. Good call by SoldieR. Looks like Knuschelbär is responding with a castle, but if SoldieR responds here in time, he may even deny that castle. Make sure you actually click on it. Make sure you actually focus on the castle and not on the villagers. Otherwise, this castle is still gonna go up. Knuschelbär going for a raid here with 4 upgraded Naganada riders, but probably getting caught by this big Eagle Runner Knight mass here. Yeah, castle has been a knight by SoldieR, but now more flaming arrows are popping out of the castle here above, which means... Oh, okay, the Sugar Shrine taken down as well. SoldieR is now halfway aging up. Knuschelbär gonna start aging up right now as well. So yeah, there are now flaming arrows out, which do really well against those ships. But oh, as you can see, the Tlalocanu's in just 2 shots, taking down a flaming arrow with this dance. It looks like SoldieR has now had enough of the sea fight and is gonna focus on military units again, on the land military units. And it looks like warrior priests are dancing for his land military units. So at some point he's gonna go out and fight again. He is aging up, so he probably wants to upgrade his units and then push in. And there will be a window when his units are aged up, well, upgraded to the 4th age. And the units of Knuschelbär are not upgraded yet. So that is basically a good window for him. So right now, upgrade to guard status. Make sure your units are all set. And then please go in and finish this army. Get out a few more Coyote Runners probably, but other than that, Mesa Hotens and Eagle Runner Knights, he can probably have it. He is building 3 more facility buildings here, but with his army, he's most of the time not really doing anything. He's right now fighting when he's almost getting his upgrades in. It's just gonna be a hard fight for SoldieR here, but it looks like his Eagle Runner Knights are now doing a lot of damage, even against those Yumi. Jaguar Paw Knights are coming out of the town center from the big button upgrade. The Canus are here to assist in fire damage. And a Tlaloc Canus now being sent here in the middle, in the pond. This town center is now down as well. So he's got support from 2 sides here. The Shogunate is down and the Toshuko Shrine is down. So he's only got the Golden Pavilion left. So this is quite a tough spot for Knuschelbär, I feel. And I think SoldieR can finally finish this game right now. Knuschelbär is in the 4th age. He's not upgrading his units yet. He's not upgrading either of his units yet. He doesn't have the resources for it. Of course, SoldieR is way ahead in terms of resources. He's already got 1, 2, 3 mills set up and a plantation and got fishing boats on both food and coin left. So this is... yeah, Knuschelbär is definitely behind in terms of economy and in terms of military as well. Doesn't have his units upgraded yet. I'm not quite sure if SoldieR can finish the game right away here. He may not have the mass, but he should be able to finish the game just with remassing units. And maybe he can finish it right now if Knuschelbär sees the advantage SoldieR has over him. He's got the supreme map control. There are a few disciplined tiger claws here. There are now 3 town centers getting set up in the north of the map. But realistically, what is Knuschelbär gonna do from this position? He's got plenty of berries. I give you that. So for Japanese, this is basically heaven. There's a big coin mine left. There's 2 big coin mine left. So he's got plenty of resources up there. But like, what is he going to defend? His Golden Pavilion will be sieged down as well at some point. We have no military unit buildings left. Maybe even his shrines will get taken down, so we will have no usable shrines anymore. I'm not quite sure what's happening here with these walls. It's just these walls are all for securing this one hero. That's interesting. Yeah, both of these players floating a lot of resources. Knuschelbär on 3k food, but not having other resources to actually do anything with it. His Yumi's still disciplined. His Ashigaru is still disciplined. He's in the 4th age, but what has he got? He's got no 4th age upgrades at all. He's only sent 1 shipment from the 4th age, which is 4 flaming arrows, but that's not really worth it for aging up. Whereas SoldieR is still streaming in guard units into the base. He's basically like, okay, come on, man, why are you not resigning? He's got 82 military unit popped to 0, and now finally Knuschelbär resigning here and giving the first win in this play all 5 to SoldieR. Ladies and gentlemen, give SoldieR a big shout out in the chat. And let's hear it for our American boy, Neyman, in the chat. Because SoldieR has just won his first game. You can save your... Maybe Knuschelbär a little bit irritated by SoldieR acting like Why are they not resigning? But yeah, on the other hand, SoldieR did have 250 score up compared to Knuschelbär, so I do understand why he was thinking, why are you not resigning? Well, we can also ask the same question, right? Why not finishing the game? But yeah, maybe a little bit irritating if you think you've won and your opponent is not resigning yet. Military unit population, this is probably the big fight we're looking for right here, which is when we said, okay, SoldieR, push out, get out a good fight, and win the game from there, and that's what he did. He basically crushed that army there with a little bit of a pop spike here just before the fight happened. By sending big buttons and shipments, and then with his melee units crushing everything into oblivion and winning the game from there. Okay, so we're now 3 games in. It has been 2.5 hours, so this is quite a marathon. It's some long games. That's for sure. We're gonna be playing on Kamchatka Summer. GGs are now in the chat. First win for SoldieR. There we have the USA hype in the chat. Did you forget to brief? I'm briefing now, so that's why it's a little bit quiet in between games. That's what when I need time to drink water and have a brief and just chill out for a little bit. Yes, SoldieR. Yes, SoldieR. You do need to pick your next civilization. Civs are reset, so you can pick anything again. So a big brief for me. Sorry, headphone users, if that caused some terrible noise in your ears. It was too good a game to end. Yeah, well, on one hand, it's the fact that it's a little bit back and forth and drawn on can be good for some people. That can be interesting. Some people just are like, okay, how longer the game goes on, the better. But what I like most in seeing a tournament, in seeing the high-level players play, is seeing how good they are at the game, right? Like, you want to be in awe of their expertise. So I kind of am torn between like, okay, is a great drawn on out game very, very interesting, or do you have more fun watching a quick 10 or maybe 15-minute game where both players just play incredibly well? And so yeah, that's basically 2 flavors you have, right? So yeah, a 40-minute game is not per se the best when it's because both players are not really playing to their most of their ability, right? However, I'm not saying these players are doing that, I'm not judging them, but yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking. Like, the longer games are not always better. Okay, so poor Bramboy keeps getting flamed. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Like, well, we're all here just to have fun and see some good H3 content. And everyone here is trying to help out with that, so it would be a shame if the staff only gets flamed. And I want to hear it for Bramboy as well at some point. Like, let's spread some positivity, positive mental attitude, you know? Is there some delay on the stream? Yes, there is 2 minutes. So by the time you hear this, my message is already pointless because somebody else will have beat me to it in the chat. We have a lot of new followers in the chat. Abandon, Being Gamer, Tommy PvP, Tusen Malik, Garja has the right idea. Okay. Fox Rec 1, Take Me River, Timo Com, Imp, Zap Dog, Rune, and some HSC 00982. Welcome all to the stream, and thanks for the follow. I haven't seen any donations or subscribers yet. I'm not gonna beg you for it, but if you, for example, do have Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime, you can have 1 free subscription. So if you don't have that used yet, consider using it on ESOC TV because, well, why not? You have it laying it around. It doesn't cost you anything. It's 2 buttons. As well, I need to mention that all donations and all subscription money doesn't go towards me, the caster, or doesn't go towards Bram as one of the tournament hosts. It's going towards the tournaments themselves. So either towards the prize pool for the players, so the players actually have some incentive to play for, or towards purely the server costs, purely the cost we need to maintain the site and the ladders. ESOC TV, who are you going to draft for the GL 3v3 tournament? Nobody is on the ESOC TV channel, I think, right now. So if you want to talk to me, tag Ida Holland. Ladies and gentlemen, Iroquois has been locked by SoldieR. Knuschelbär has locked the Japanese civilization. We're going to go into the 4th game here of Knuschelbär versus SoldieR on the map Kamchatka. And this is going to be the summer version, so no icy forest for me. The score, Momo is asking, it's 2 points for Knuschelbär and 1 for SoldieR. Looks like the logos are in the correct position, so that is great. Finally, I don't have to switch them. Yes, cheers for Bramboy, you've got the right spirit. Okay, here in the southeast of the map, we have SoldieR playing in the color blue as Iroquois, and in the northwest of the map we have Knuschelbär playing as a Japanese civilization in the color green, starting out with 2 wood crates today and a coin crate. So this coin crate is probably going to be useless for these civilizations until somewhere in the 2nd age. It looks like we have a copy pasta in the chat. Bramboy is the mod I always see in chat when ESOC Twitch is streaming. What a good guy, helping out naps and good guys as well. So yeah, thanks for the copy pasta, and yeah, give Bram a little shout out from time to time. He is doing a lot of hard work and shouldn't get too much slack for moderating the chat because that's necessary as well. We have a lot of small treasures on this map, something like the 40 wood and the beaver treasures and the 45 coin guarded by makakis. But there's also some big treasures on this map, always, and one of them is always in the center of the map, and it looks like this time it's going to be 80 coin, which is actually one of the most useless of these big treasures, relatively big treasures. So I'm not quite sure if either player is going to go for this 80 coin early on. But sometimes there's like 80 or 90 wood in the center of the map, so which is what you really want to go for. So 80 wood here in the west is probably going to be picked up at some point. 75 food is also a really powerful one. Let's take a look. 80 food again. So yeah, these are the treasures both players are really going to be looking for. So let's see if they can catch some of those. I think Knuschelbär is going to go for this 80 food at some point. Another thing both players are scouting around for are not treasures, but the yaks. Or this time they are not yaks, but they are goats, of course. The Garjak goats. So both players want these goats to eat them for some food. Looks like Knuschelbär got 2 in his pocket, SoldieR just got 4, and there's at least 2 more left on the map. I doubt actually this one is going to be scouted out, but we'll have to see. So yeah, some of these treasures are going to be picked up. 80 food here, SoldieR has not really got anything yet. 40 food and a macaque. So he's got the scouting potential. But he needs to find a big juicy treasure to actually make use of his abilities as well, of course. Maybe he can go in for steal here. Let's see. Reaction time. Come on, SoldieR. Come on. You should see this. Okay. Well, he's not going for it. Yeah, too late now. Too late now. Go back. Maybe he's going to try to do some damage against these explorers. But they are poofing away. Back to the town center. So yeah, SoldieR is now left here alone and empty. Next to a taken treasure. So let's see what he goes for next. We're gonna take a look at their decks. It looks like Knuschelbär is aging up, is sending 300 wood first. So let's look at his deck first. 300 wood is a little bit more of the meta game nowadays. Because, well, most of the time everyone played heavily Kami, but now 300 wood is a more standard play. Maybe even not gonna go Age of with the Toshugo Shrine, but with the Torii Gates, for example. Let's take a look. Units, text being researched. Oh, the Toshugo Shrine. Okay, so that is still the default shrine, but he is using the 300 wood to build a trade post site, and he doesn't have consulate either yet, so not really gonna go for the full shrine boom once again, but more of a moderate shrine boom with the Toshugo Shrine, so not really fully committing to military, but not gonna go for the heavily Kami shrine boom either, so a little bit of an in-between. SoldieR on the other hand doing the default 3 villager age up, and he's got a fairly standard deck, I think. Got the High Chief for his War Priest, but well, not quite sure if we ever see it used in this game. The other cards are quite normal. Nothing too extraordinary. The macaque scouting around in his base. Oh yeah, getting fired on by this this hero. I was looking at the town center, but the hero scaring it away here. Let's see, target scouting around. Nothing too crazy happening yet. That throw from SoldieR that he got from aging up was gonna go forward, but it's now stuck in the trees. Is getting shot at by a hero. This isn't great. He's already getting scouted out, so immediately SoldieR or Knuschelbär responds by putting down a wall. Maybe even able to wall in this warhead, but I think it's just gonna set up a wall here, maybe even one behind it, just to make sure that all the units that pop out of this warhead need to siege down something first before they can actually attack. SoldieR has gathered himself a little bit of a small army here, and it looks like gonna pick up another 84 food. New ways in deck. Yeah, the arsenal upgrades in your longhouses. SoldieR has got that, so that's good for the longer H2 game. And Mido says it's better than conservative tactics in this matchup. This is an interesting. I want to hear more of your thoughts on that. So please tell me about why that's better in this specific matchup. Wall getting siege down here, yeah, so those units popped out, the big button units have popped out, and now next are some trained tomahawks, so he's got 10 tomahawks on the field, but they have to siege down this wall first, buying Knuschelbär a little bit of time that he needs to first send 600 wood for his infrastructure, and next up 4 villagers, so not committing to a military shipment yet, nothing like 5 Yumi, but gonna go for the more economic 4 villagers, so gonna have a pretty good economy compared to SoldieR, even though SoldieR has got a trade post. Looks like Knuschelbär already got 5-6 shrines up. Another one going up here in his base. Second wall. This is a fairly common wall. This is a wall you see in a lot of Japanese games or India games on this map. This is just a really good one. It just forces the enemy to come in from here, which is way easier to cut off and to flank. So, yeah, nice wall here by Knuschelbär. Some Yubu are now out, some Ashigaru, and it looks like SoldieR is using his positioning of his ward here to wall off himself, so to prevent some raids from it coming in or other attacks from Knuschelbär. So gonna claim this piece of map for himself. On the other hand, there is a wall here from Knuschelbär, so both of these players are trying to wall in some of these things. And it looks like Knuschelbär wants to wall back up again, but SoldieR nicely denying that with his warhead and with his wall, of course. So this villager is not going to build a wall there, it looks like. So Makaki scouting out the tomahawks from SoldieR, and looks like Knuschelbär actually wants to attack here. Send 600 coin. He's got quite a lot of resources in his bank. May go for an H-up soon, but SoldieR's going to go for an H-up sooner. He's almost got the full resources for the AoE3. Let's see if anyone says anything in the chat yet about why he does the conservative tactics in his deck. No, I want to hear about it. Mido, tell me about it. Conservative tactics, why? Why is it better than the upgrade that the card that upgrades all the stats of your units instead? Okay, SoldieR is now aging up with the fast age-up politician, so gonna be up in 15 seconds or something. Knuschelbär not yet aging up, gonna be starting in a few seconds by building his wonder as well. Probably gonna be okay, it's gonna be not gonna be the shogunate this time. Let's see, text being researched. Yeah, it's gonna go for the golden pavilion. SoldieR is now aged up, and looks like Knuschelbär is seeing a chance. He's got a little bit of a military advantage, 16 against 10. So he's going to use that to take down this trade post here. And yeah, he will probably succeed with that. He's going to take a big shot from SoldieR's war chief. Going to lose about 2 units of HP on his units. But his trade post in return is of course worth more. It looks like immediately he's going to replace it. Of course, SoldieR is in the 3rd age first. So he knows, okay, I will have a slight advantage here from now on when I start training 3rd age units, Force Prowlers from my warhead, and when I start sending 3rd age shipments as well. So it looks like 8 Force Prowlers, and now he suddenly has a big advantage. So 30 seconds ago he had lost his trade post, but now he's confident, yeah, this time I can defend it because I will have a 3rd age advantage. I will have the units to defend. So I hope at some point SoldieR will lock down this piece of land as well, and make sure that the fight really happens where SoldieR dictates where it happens. He's got the warhead here, he's got a trade post, he's got a line of sight, but the last thing you want is something like Konsha Yababushi raids or Ashigaru raids on places you don't want them to happen. So walling off little pieces of land, it costs you like 15 wood, but it can make a difference in a few villagers or in a lot of time that you have to invest in chasing down enemy units. So definitely important to do that. Looks like sending his war chief and all his units back just to take out 2 melee units from Knuschelbär. And once again, I think SoldieR may just be able to push out at some point. I'm not sure what his plan will be. Okay, he's now walling this off. He's got tomahawks on the field, not upgrading them yet. Should probably get to that once he's got the 200 wood. He had sent the 1200 resources, which is an extremely powerful shipment for Iokra in the 3rd age. And it basically make sure you can upgrade all your units and set up more infrastructure. So another stable, more houses, more market upgrades, more trade posts. It's just a great upgrade in general, a great card. And it looks like he's going to go for musket riders along with force prowlers. That is going to be his composition. He's got 2 warheads in total. He's got 1 corral in total. And with that, he's got enough infrastructure to support his economy for military production. So 80 force prowlers on the field right now, 10 tomahawks and 5 musket riders. The only thing he may have some trouble with is these flaming arrows. Like we saw before, Kenya horsemen can do extremely well against them, and also can forest prowlers that suddenly pop out of stealth. They took down a falconet before, so it looks like SoldieR may go for the same trick twice. So what he's going to try to do is get in very close to the flaming arrows and then pop out of stealth, shoot them down, and, well, then fight out the rest of the fight. So let's see if Knuschelbär falls for it again. Looks like SoldieR is now a little bit more assertive. He's going to be more aggressive. He's going to push out against Knuschelbär and not let him dictate when and where the fight happens. And yeah, looks like SoldieR is now going to dictate where the fight happens. He's gonna siege down this trade post, forcing Knuschelbär to get out. He's got his force powders, but they're getting attacked here. They're getting chased, but then again, he can just pop out of into stealth once he's out of range and make sure he can get away safely. Gonna kill those Yababushi as well. Make sure he saves his trade post. And as you can see on the map, he's basically got the map control, sieging down this shrine. This is the last shrine, along with this one that Knuschelbär has got out of his base. So once these things are down, that Knuschelbär has no knowledge what's happening outside of his base. On the other hand, Knuschelbär is now aging up to the 4th age, something that's quite common on this map. Japanese going to the 4th age, walling up their base. That's not something that's not unheard of. But yeah, Knuschelbär has no idea what's happening outside of his base. Whether SoldieR is building another town center, which he is not right now. Whether he is trying to go to the 4th age himself. Whereas SoldieR can probably get some idea of what Knuschelbär is doing just by seeing what Knuschelbär is doing in this base, right? I mean, you know, Knuschelbär is not trying to push out anymore, so he's probably aging up. So yeah, some scouting is very important here. Mido asking in the chat, why does Knuschelbär have 0 shrines when SoldieR has not pushed out? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not actually sure why. Mostly because Knuschelbär didn't really go for a big shrine boom here, but even in his base, he's only got a few shrines and only on hunts, not really going for a shrine boom outside of his own base, just with a few of them. It looks like he's now gonna build some more of them outside of his base, going with some Ashigaru. So this may be some kind of Ashigaru raid, but then again, it could just get caught out of position, which means he's gonna lose 14 Ashigaru for nothing. Maybe he's going for the real push right now. His Yumi are still disciplined. Their Ashigaru are still veteran, not even to the upgrade to the 3rd age status. So these Ashigaru are not really on par with the units that Iroquois has. He's got a big military advantage. He's now building another town center here, so his presence in the center of the map is very strong. He's got a warhead set up as well. So yeah, it's going to be hard for Knuschelbär to push out here. SoldieR did just send New Ways, which is his 2nd age shipment. So Mido, you should be happy now. Your New Ways is getting used, which allows SoldieR to research some arsenal upgrades in his longhouse. So he can get something like the extra counter infantry rifling, for example, which he's doing right now, which gives him a big bonus against military units such as the Ashigaru. So yeah, a big force powder mass here, 34 force powders. There's some decent cavalry mass, the Kenya horsemen, which have been upgraded, and the elite musket riders. And the biggest scary thing of Knuschelbär's army is probably still the flaming arrows. His Ashigaru musketeers are still not upgraded. They're now halfway through to being upgraded to the disciplined status. So now may actually not be a really bad time for SoldieR to just push out and make use of this positioning as well. So let's see what's happening. Musketeer is going to the front, gonna try and connect with these flaming arrows. Kenya horsemen gonna try and get there as well. Force powder is getting into position, gonna shoot down these Ashigaru with their counter infantry rifling as well. A lot more Ashigarus just popping out, I think, of the day now. It looks like, that's 2 more flaming arrows that popped out. But yeah, this fight is going to be won by SoldieR quite convincingly. The cavalry were on top of the flaming arrows, and there's just a big mass of force powders left. And that's so able to deal with those Yumi archers and Ashigarus that are left on the field for Knuschelbär. And now suddenly it's 69 nice military unit population against 14. Knuschelbär having almost no map control. I mean, he's got some villagers out on the map, yeah, but he doesn't really have that under control. He can't really protect those if they get cut off by any military units. Some shrines being taken down here as well. Soldier taking back the trade post. He has lost his town center that was here in the center of the map, but doesn't really matter at this point. He's got such a huge military advantage that he can probably swing it into a win from here. On the other hand, it's of course age 4 Japan, so you still need to be careful. They still have powerful shipments. There's another 4 flaming arrows sent by Knuschelbär, so that's still going to be doing quite a bit of damage against the infantry mass that Soldier has. Infantry hit points is now out as well, so those force powders are getting stronger every time. But yeah, as you can see, the flaming arrows still do well against them. So Soldier needs to find a way to break in and a way to finish Knuschelbär, but he should definitely stay on top of it. He should stay aggressive and make sure you use your advantage. He's got a military advantage, so use it to your advantage. Another town center coming up, second try of his second town center in the west of the map, and this is very unlikely to be taken care of by Knuschelbär. It's just out on the map, it's not in the center, so you need to go all the way to the west of the map to take it out, so more safe spot for Soldier. Looks like Force Powder is just gonna go straight in, walking forward towards the flaming arrows and gonna try and just DPS them down. They have shot down one of them, but it's taking quite a lot of volleys. I think 2 whole volleys from those 32 Force Powders to take down 1 flaming arrow, so it's a little bit too costly for Soldier, so he's going back with his army. He shot down another villager that was building a wall here. And yeah, oh, this was interesting, by the way. Why did he ever send 2 flaming arrows when he had 4 flaming arrows? Didn't he have the population? Tell me. Okay, so Kenya Horseman going forward and actually taking down 1 of the flaming arrows, another one getting shot down by the tomahawks here as well. There are only some Yamabushi left, but they're not really gonna do anything against those tomahawks and force powders. There's just too much DPS here, and basically you should just attack right now. Soldier should make use of his units. Wicked Cossack in the chat saying attack. The H2O taunt is what it reads like. So yeah, still 1 flaming arrow left for Knuschelbär, still making use of it. He's got the range advantage with it, but I mean, even if it keeps picking off units 1 by 1 here, it's just Soldier is in such a good spot. What is he ever gonna do with that? That 1 flaming arrow is not gonna be enough. Infantry attack is now out for Soldier as well. He's got so many cards on his rifle, force powders, and he's got the counter infantry rifling as well. He's got some musket riders left to deal with any cavalry, any Naginata riders that may come out of Knuschelbär. So at this point, just attack. You know, he's got decent siege damage from his tomahawks, 31 siege. So he can probably just like siege this down, walk in, and finish it. But then again, I do understand why he has his reservations. It is Japanese. There is still walls and Yumi behind it. Just 8 Yumi, but it may be enough to scare Soldier away. But Soldier is just so passive. For somebody called Soldier, he's not really keen of going into a war. So yeah, let's see. He's adding more walls, 2 more layers. Not doing Bastion yet because it's a 4th age upgrade. More walls here as well. I mean, I understand he wants to take it slow and kind of be like, okay, let's make sure that I don't waste my advantage and get caught out of position. But on the other hand, you also waste your advantage if you give your opponent too much time to recover. So yeah, basically, what's Soldier waiting for? Oh, we have more followers in the chat. Pararate19 and ZIXW78, whatever. Thanks for following the channel as well. Okay, some forest powders coming out here. 2 more flaming arrows are now added. 14 Ashigaru have been shipped. They are still disciplined, nor the guard status. Wicked Cossack is still having a stroke in the chat. And keep saying attack in capital letters because he just doesn't understand why Soldier's not attacking. And well, at this point, he's giving Knuschelbär so much opportunity to get back into it. Maito saying Soldier can't lose at this moment. Daruka is saying he can still lose. Okay, well, okay, more walls are added. More walls are added here. So we now know Soldier has got the absolute map control. He's got everything in his pocket. Soldier is not yet aging up, not nearly. He's got 1,000 wood stacked up. There are some Asagaru waiting in his base, but I assume he can deal with that with his tomahawks. So yeah, Knuschelbär is now pushing out again with his flaming arrows. He's got 5 flaming arrows at the moment. So he seeds down some more walls, probably trying to make sure that Soldier wastes more time and resources on taking down those flaming arrows. But yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's going to be enough. Looks like the Force Prowlers went in again in stealth. Maybe wanting to take down those flaming arrows, but yeah, not really working in that regard. But yeah, now Knuschelbär is here on the east side of his base, attacking Soldier, and Soldier finally is doing what Wicked always wanted. He's attacking, so he's going in with 40 tomahawks, around 40 Force Prowlers and 1 Kenya Horseman, and he's finally pushing out. But at this point, the population, Meteor population, is about even. So those flaming guys are actually doing little big volleys. At least 6-7 units getting killed off there by that volley. More here in the second volley. And yeah, Soldier already losing a lot of units here. Naginata Riders popping out of the stable. Now getting upgraded to Disciplined as well. The Naginata Riders are on top of the Forest Prowlers as well, which is doing a lot of damage, tanking a lot of damage from them. There are still 4 flaming arrows left, whereas all the Tomahawks are now dead. There are still 31 Forest Prowlers left. So, okay, it's not lost yet. Definitely not lost yet. But this was maybe one of the worst fights Soldier could have had out of this entire engagement. Like, the last fight was like 5 minutes ago at least, and the fight would have been so different if he attacked back then. This was really not what Soldier wanted, probably. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the chat react to this, especially Wicked Cossack and Daruka, who's Daruka is now also cheering for Soldier, saying the attack taunt, keep saying attack, attack, attack. Of course, Daruka is in the same league as Soldier here, so he's definitely rooting for Soldier. So let's see their reaction as well. Soldier now has to go back into his town center here, building more stables, building another mill. So he's still got the entire map, right? He's still got walls at least here and here. So it's gonna be hard for Knuschelbär to suddenly pop into Soldier's base, especially now that he's got some stables set up, so he can send some cavalry after these Naginata Riders. He's getting up more walls, so even harder for Knuschelbär to raid, which is great. But Knuschelbär is very slowly pushing out here, very slowly taking down more walls with his flaming arrows. Naginata Riders are forcing off the villagers of this mine, so that's unfortunate for Soldier. Is he still ahead? I thought it's so hard to call. He's way ahead in eco, so probably. He's not ahead in technology, because, well, he's an age behind. But then again, he's got good cards and upgrades on his unit, so in that regard, he is doing great. Okay, yeah, I find it so hard to call. I think Soldier still is okay for winning this game, just looking at the stats. And Soldier can probably go up to the 4th age at some point. I mean, he's got 3k gold stacked up, so maybe gather some more food, trade something. I'm really lost for words at this point. I'm finding it quite hard to predict or cast what's actually going to happen. So let's just focus on what is happening. Soldier's got a lot of villagers on food, so he's trying to stabilize from his macro, which is way ahead in gold. He's still got mines in the center of the map, so that's good. He's got a little bit of coin left here, and he's got plenty of coin left here. He's dealt with the raid. He's got walls stacked up, which gives him walls stacked up all the way across the map, which gives him a lot of line of sight and control over where Knuschelbär's units are. Kenya Horsemen going forward. Big Forest Prowler mass as well. 30 Forest Prowlers, 9 Tomahawks, and 17 Kenya Horsemen. It looks like we now have another fight on our hands, but Ashigaru are just so good against Kenya Horsemen in melee. 3.5 times against cavalry. So they should really connect to the Yumi archers, otherwise they're not going to do a lot of damage. More Kenya Horsemen coming in from the south, and it looks like SoldieR is now going to finally clean this up. A lot of Kenya Horsemen are connecting with the Yumi. Knuschelbär calling GG. And SoldieR winning his second game here in the play out of 5. SoldieR hype. Yeah, SoldieR should definitely feel good now. Finally getting back into the series. Winning 2 games in a row. So, yes, SoldieR having another win. He should be happy now. Okay. Yeah, people in the chat are just screaming for SoldieR to attack. Daruka and Mido saying that he's still fine. But this last fight, that is what he needed. Combat K saying he needs more Kenya Horsemen. Well, Combat K, you had it right. That's exactly what he needed to finish the fight at least. Resources gathered around equal, not too interesting. But this is the equal one. Daruka said it in the chat, I think. He traded 30 units for 70. So yeah, as you can see, SoldieR. Wait, that was not the fight. Yeah, this was the fight, right? So from 80 to around 34, and this was from 74 to 35. So it's around even how many units they lost here. But SoldieR could just had the potential for way more units. As you see, he started out on 90 units, and they ended at about the same spot. But he did manage to trade it into a victory. But this was the poor fight for SoldieR. This is where this was the good fight for SoldieR. After this is when he could have won the game, I feel like. But it was drawn out until this fight, so that was like 8 minutes apart. Okay. The final game played on Manchuria. Great map. Maybe we should have a throw emote. ESOC throw. I'm not sure what the actual emote should be, but there should be one. Momo asking in the chat, how did Noosh lose this? And Mido responding, because he didn't try to do anything all game. He never had a unit composition. Never had an eco. Yeah, kind of true. Okay. Tigan, thanks for your concerns. I will take a bladder break when I need to. Don't worry. ESOC TV 2 is still going strong, it looks like. So this is... looks like we still have 2 streams going on here. Okay, taking a breath. I'm gonna take a bit of a breath before going into the last game. Knuschelbär has locked in Aztecs. Yeah, it's pretty hard to really stay that hyped for so long. Like, yes, sometimes these games are just drawn out a little bit and you get really tired. Oh, I promise you a face reveal as well, I think. So, hey guys, this is E the Home, as it's called. And yeah, this is where I live. This is why I wear my escape hoodie. Not right now because it's quite hot. And on the wall, I should also, not sure if you can see it. Yeah, there on the wall is an Age of Empires poster I have as well. Pretty cool one. Maybe I can show it on the forums at some point. So yeah, here's the face reveal. I did that. I had to do that for, I think, Tygan or something. Somebody asked for that. So there it is. And yeah, what are we gonna do after this game? Somebody asked as well. I think the stream will close off and you guys can probably move to ESOC TV 2 unless that stream has finished by then. I'm gonna quickly check out the stream of ESOC TV 2 and see how far they are with their stream. Looks like SoldieR has now clicked in with British. ESO down. Well, if it's down, you cannot send that chat. Oh, the other stream is done, says Bram Hook. Okay. New management cuirassiers. No, new world challengers. Oh, wait. Wait, is this? Oh, it's fine. The logo is fine. New world challenger. Wait, it is flipped. Wait, what? Was this flipped all game? Or, yeah, I think all game, but not all stream, right? Ah, ESOC TV 2 is here. Welcome, ESOC TV 2. And tune in for the final game of SoldieR versus Knuschelbär. Hey guys in the chat. Hey Keho, Speckless, Brooke, Ziki. Hey everyone, welcome in the chat. Let's see some ESOC TV emos. Let's see some hype in the chat. Let's see some SoldieR hype, some more energy, positive energy in the chat because we need it for this final game. I don't think ESO is down actually because, well, well, they're chatting and the chat goes through ESO, so it shouldn't be down. Either Homeland, nice either. Yeah, it is 2-2. It's 2 points for Knuschelbär, 2 for SoldieR. Netherlands power. It looks up for me. Let's try to ready up. Okay, Netherlands power. So this is the owner of the ESOC Discord. Yeah, that is me. Well, I mean, in practice, ESOC is owning it, but yeah, in the end, I guess I do have the crown next to my name. The stream is way slower with SoldieR and Knuschelbär's game style. Yeah, definitely. The other stream was, I think, B winner versus not sure exactly. Anyway, but yeah, that's definitely more fast-paced because Knuschelbär did a lot of defensive strategies, tried to go to the 4th age a lot, and SoldieR is more of a passive player. So yeah, definitely more passive. Hi, Ducky Duck, who won the last Oli? Oh yeah, Oli versus B winner. ESO had a mini crash 2 minutes ago. Seems up now. Okay, Knuschelbär wants to rehost. Momo in the chat with more copy pastas. Looks like Knuschelbär has trouble selecting his home city. So, ladies and gentlemen, please hold on for a few minutes. There are 370 of you in the chat. That's amazing. Okay. Wow, that's cool. Of course, it's Saturday evening. Everyone is probably at home. Not a lot of people who don't have to stay at home these days. So, but really awesome to see 370 of you here. But I just want to say, like, that energy, those numbers, they need to be reflected in the chat, right? Because otherwise, what do I have with so many people if there's no chat spam? There's no hype. There's no positive energy in the chat. So I want to see that. I want to see a lot of it, because that gives me the energy I need to cast this final game, right? Knuschelbär's game, there it is. He's rehosted. Looks like we're ready. Looks like we're finally ready to go into this last game. And yeah, once again, I have more followers as well. I'm not going to shout out all of you because there are too many, but thank you for following the channel. If you decide to donate or subscribe to the stream, you should show up. And otherwise, I'm going to do a shout out of you later. But yeah, you should show up on stream with your subscription or donation. Okay, you always can chat in the lobby. Okay, so sorry then for spreading that false information, because the chat is peer-to-peer, it seems like. So that's why we could chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to click into the final game of Knuschelbär versus SoldieR. They have played 4 games so far. 2 of them, the first 2, won by Knuschelbär, and 2 of them won by SoldieR. So right now, 2-2, and this final game doesn't really decide the winner of the series, because they're playing about points, not about winning the series. It's a play all of 5, not a best of 5. But of course, getting more points than your opponent is also a mental victory. So this is a big game in that regard. It is important. So let's hear it. Let's see some predictions happening. I want to hear what you guys think are going to happen, who's going to win, and see some cheering as well. 200 wood start for both of these players. So the British players probably going to start with just 1 manor house, and I think the Essex player going to start with a fire pit and a house. The logos are in the correct position as well, so that is great. We're going to start out by scouting out as many yaks as we can. Both of these players have 1 scouting unit only, so they're going to be scouting out the entire map for these yaks and save them up for another food bonus later on in the game. Looks like Knuschelbär is going to have a little bit of a yak advantage here already, just by a good scouting pattern, going out in front of his base, getting the ones in the center of the map, returning next to these trade cards, getting another 2, may even get this one if he follows the pattern he's on now. Let's see what he decides to do. SoldieR having a little bit of trouble finding a lot of them, of the yaks. Age of EOE3 hype, there it is. Thank you. 85 wood is here in the center of the map. There are always a lot of there are always some wood treasures on this map. They're always really good. There's 90 wood. SoldieR has shot 1 of the lines. He's now going to go back for the second line, going to shoot that down and take the wood treasure. And Knuschelbär taking a 90 wood as well and got a free lion with it. So having some extra line of sight on the map. There's also some of the Mongolian treasures on this map, which always gives a little bit of a bonus to stables or your cavalry. So in this case, it's a free stable, but you have to shoot 4 Mongol riders for it. Okay, I'm gonna take another 65 coin, but losing some HP on your hero in the process, so that is not great, of course. Dancing with his warrior priest on this fire pit. He's already got, let's take a look at all units, got 6 yaks so far. SoldieR's only got 1, so not a great start for SoldieR, I would say, but with the 90 wood treasure that he got, he did build another manor house, so that's quite good. Another villager early on is always good for your economy, whereas Knuschelbär can't use his wood treasure early on. He's not using it yet because he can't really boom with it yet. But with this 85 wood, he can now probably build another trade post in the second age in transition. So he's probably going to take this 85 wood as well at some point, getting up another 2 yaks. Whereas SoldieR is still working on a 75 wood treasure. So SoldieR, if you take a look at the scouting pattern, he's only been here all game. So Knuschelbär definitely has more line of sight over the map, and he's scouted out more of the map because he's got a lot more jacks. He's got a lion and a tiger running around. So that's a little bit of an H1 advantage for Knuschelbär. So in the end, if we had to say who's got the H1 advantage, Knuschelbär definitely got that because of the 8 yaks against just 2 of SoldieR. SoldieR not in a terribly bad position, of course, but just not as great as Knuschelbär. This is the spawn where there's just one trade route with 3 sockets on them, and the one of them is in the center of the map. So they're really going to be fighting about this trade post socket, and the top and the bottom one are most likely just going to be for the player next to it, right? Lion of sight, says Argument, then their Jarme. Yeah, a line of sight is what he's got with this beast here. On 6 health. One more Yakizer on the field, 40 wood. Maybe SoldieR can pick that up as well at some point. He's going back in his base with his Explorer. Not really wants to scout out the Aztec base, it looks like. Aztec's not going forward with any villagers. Looks like no forward warhead yet. Let's see what he's being aging up with. That is going to be the Shaman, which I think is the one that gives you the Skull Knights? Not 100% sure, so I'm going to take a look at his town center when he ages up. SoldieR has aged up with the 200 coin and the free tower. Going to have that next to his town center. Is going to have a nice wall here, nice SimCity, securing those resources in his base. And there's still plenty of hunts in the back of his base, so he should be fine for the next few minutes to secure his villagers. Oh, it is the one that gives the 2 warheads. So that's why he didn't send any villagers forward. He doesn't need to build a forward warhead with his villagers. He's gonna use his warhead Travois instead, and looks like gonna go quite a bit forward, gonna claim a lot of the map here. There are no hunts here in the very center of the map, but you can still just claim the map for you, even when you don't directly place it next to the hunts. Looks like he slowly wants to go for this Mongolian treasure as well. I'm not 100% sure what it gives for Aztecs, because the Aztecs don't have a stable or a corral. They don't really have an alternative for a stable at all. Like, the closest thing is their Noble's Hut, but I doubt this one will give you a Noble's Hut, because that's a lot of resources. That's 350 resources. Hype train conductor has arrived just in time for SoldieR hype. Oh, Suda is here. Okay, this is going to be some good SoldieR hype. And looking forward to what Zuda has planned for us. Tell me, what does the trapped construction team give the Aztecs? Somebody let me know and tag me in the chat, because I don't know and I want to know it. So, or he's just going to use it to deny it for SoldieR. SoldieR building a barracks and a stable in his base. He's got 5 hussars out, going to try and do some raiding with that. Knuschelbär has got some buildings in his line of sight, so he probably shouldn't lose any villagers to these raids. But, of course, you can catch your opponent off guard and maybe take a villager. Maybe this one here. So let's see what he's going to do with that. SoldieR going to lose his Explorer here, but has scouted out the Puma Spearman. So at least he has some knowledge of what Knuschelbär is doing now. Yeah, still gonna try to take out a villager, but not really succeeding in that yet. Knuschelbär is going back with his units, with his Coyote Runners and Puma Spearmen back into his base to try and catch these hussars so he can safely gather up his resources. Mongol Riders here to scout out anything. 0 times. Okay, so they already have a siege damage, but now they also have less damage against buildings as well. So that's probably because converted guardians were nerfed. That's probably what it is, but it seems a little bit silly that their hand attack has nerfed damage against buildings. Mongol Rider getting picked off by these longbowmen, so SoldieR going for the longbowman hussar composition, and it looks like now the Aztecs has finally gotten this treasure. He's not got a lot of units in his base left. I'm not quite sure if he wants to... It is a stable wagon. You saw that. It was a stable wagon. And it made a warhead. So that's pretty good. 250 wood, basically. Along with a little bit of extra wood, because you don't have to spend villagers on building the warhead. So maybe like 280 wood. From that treasure. Which, of course, it took him some time to get. But if you've got a military units, why not get it? So, pretty good. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that's just his dad. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's talking about Jesus. Okay, 4 hussars going back into his base. SoldieR looks like he's not really saving up for an H-up yet. He did send 700 coin, but he doesn't nearly have the amount of food yet, and he's still producing new units. So, looks like he still wants to build more musketeers instead of an H-up. Knuschelbär the same. He sent 5 villagers and 10 Mesa Haltons now as well, so it looks like he wants to go for an attack here. 10 Mesa Haltons are a clear indication that he wants to do some pressure soon. It gives Warhead Travois. Okay, yeah, thank you for telling me. Oh, there we go! Suda is doing his raid. There is finally the hype train. The motherfucking SoldieR hype train is happening. Gifting 100 tier 1 subs to the community. What is going on? Oh, Suda, thank you a lot for your contribution. You are #1 patron here in chat. Suda is the man. Suda madness is happening. SoldieR is pushing out with his heroes, and it looks like he's actually quite a good damage against those Mesa Haltons there. The Puma Spearman not really connecting with the hussars yet, not really doing that anti-cavalry damage that he wants, and meanwhile the musketeers and longbowmen doing straight up DPS in the back. So it looks like SoldieR is doing a pretty good fight here. Of course, that huge raid from SoldieR helping from Suda helping SoldieR a lot. 100 subscription hype going on. I'm not quite sure why the messages are not coming through, but we do see it in the chat. 100 subscriptions given away by Suda. You are awesome, man. Thank you a lot. And yeah, I kind of forgot to talk about the game, so let's do that now. 9 Mesa Haltons getting popped out by Knuschelbär, so he's getting a little bit more units out on the field, but still a lot of longbowmen DPSing in the background, shooting down those Puma Spearmen, which are all he has against those Hussar. There's still 6 Hussar left for SoldieR, what he needs to snare down those units, so it's gonna be scary for Knuschelbär here. Does he have enough DPS to take down those infantry units, or is he gonna get snared by the cavalry units? 6 musketeers are coming out for SoldieR, helping him get out more of his military unit composition here, and it looks like the Mesa Haltons are just doing so poorly against those longbowmen and musketeers. There's too many British units here. He is fighting next to 2 warheads, which is of course not really what he wants to do here, but it looks like he can afford it. He's got decent siege damage. He's gathering right next to this warhead as well, and he's confident enough that he's got the siege damage to take it down. More Coyote Rhinos coming out right on top of the Hussars, so those Hussars are in a little bit of trouble. Puma Spearman going forward, but really getting shot down by the musketeers and the longbowmen as well. Only 4 Hussars left, not really able to connect with the Mesa Haltons, and musketeers getting focused down by the Mesa Haltons as well. Not a lot of anti-cavalry here left, or anti-infantry left for SoldieR. So it looks like Knuschelbär doing fine here next to the 2 warheads. So yeah, looks like Knuschelbär has stabilized a little bit. The 5 Coyote shipment was pretty good, and the Hussars couldn't really get in contact with those Mesa Haltons because of the warhead blockade and with other units in the way. So yeah, that was really good fight for Knuschelbär, and it looks like he's made a little bit of a comeback. SoldieR is still ahead in economy, of course. He's the British player. He's got more villagers. He's only got hunting dogs, no pleasure mines, but then again Knuschelbär only got hunting dogs as well. So next is 5 villagers for SoldieR, maybe a little bit overdue, but now he can safely send it, he feels like. The villagers are getting sent forward, so not to task to a resource just yet. Enjoy the rest of the series, says Suda. He just goes into the chat. He says, "Oh, just in time for SoldieR hype, for the hype train." He gives out 100 subscriptions, and he says, "Okay, I gotta run. Enjoy the rest." Oh, Suda, what a man. More big hype in the chat. It's not really one of the teams that's playing right now, but it is the team that Suda is rooting for. So that's what we're all rooting for on this blessed day. And I'm not sure what his getting a little bit of a lag spike perhaps. Looks like another fight is happening here pretty soon. Mason Halton coming forward. He's got more Mason Halton and SoldieR's got the infantry units. And still a decent amount of Puma Spearmen able to siege down a lot of units and take down all these cavalry units. So I'm not quite sure if the SoldieR hype is as strong now as it was before. This is quite a hard spot for SoldieR. There always villagers are here. He doesn't have great coats. Should definitely do great coats at this point. So yeah, all his villagers are here. A lot of his food gathering villagers. So it's really important that he secures this, but he doesn't really have the military units to secure it right now to really fight this army of Knuschelbär. So SoldieR should probably be happy that Knuschelbär is going back and actually not gonna keep attacking. Jochen300 donated $50. Okay, so the alerts are set up right, but for some reason I didn't have 100 subscriptions notifications, so I'm not quite sure why. Somebody of the media team can probably tell me. Jochen300 donated $50. No donation message, but I will shout you out. Jochen300, thanks a lot for your donation. Your donation goes straight towards ESOC, and that means either the price pools or some of the server costs, but not towards us. So you are contributing to this tournament with your donation. So thanks a lot. Knuschelbär, of course, went back here. He is setting himself up for the third age. He is now in the third age and gonna be upgrading his units pretty soon here. His Mason Halton and his Puma Spearmen for sure are gonna be upgraded, maybe even his Coyote Spearmen. And yeah, it's gonna be quite hard for SoldieR to get back into it. Of course, he does now have a window again. His opponent is aging up. That means spending a lot of resources on aging up and not on military units. So SoldieR probably has a window here. It's going to be small and it's going to be hard. Maybe with very good micro or positioning, he can pull it off. But it's going to be tough for him. He can use the mobility on his SRs to either raid around or maybe get a good flank. But on the other hand, there are Coyote runners for Knuschelbär running around, raiding his villagers, still not got great coats. His villagers are dying quite quickly to those raids. He's sending some of his hussars back to deal with the Coyotes, but already losing quite a little bit of villagers here. Take a look at units lost. 9 villagers lost so far. That's quite devastating for him. So it's really short term now for SoldieR, I feel like. He still had an eco, but not by a long shot because of the trading post Knuschelbär has. He's going to raid around with his hussars, try to make a comeback that way. Maybe with a big, powerful raid on these villagers, for example, also don't have great coats. That may be what he needs to make it back. On the other hand, there are now Eagle Runner Knights out for Knuschelbär as well. He's got no more Coyote Runners, but Eagle Runner Knights, of course, do very well against Hussars. They've got the speed they need to catch up with them. They've got the cavalry bonus to take them down. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be devastating for those Hussars and for the raid that he was planning to do to bring it back. On the other hand, it gives SoldieR a little bit of a window to push in here. Going to use the range on his longbowman to snipe down some Mason Halton. On the other hand, he's fighting next to 3 war huts and a noble's hut in the back here as well. So just because of the scouting potential that gives, it's really hard for SoldieR to actually push in here. And of course, because units can pop out at any time, big button units, shipments, production units, it's just too scary to fight next to a home city send point. So it's a tough situation for SoldieR, and I'm not quite sure what he is going to do to make it back. 3 warrior priests have been sent by Knuschelbär, a little bit more of a long-term shipment. Oh, the Puma Spearmen right on top of the Hussars, doing so much damage against the Hussars. The Hussars are not really tanking damage off the Mason Haltons, not doing any damage, and it's going to be so hard for SoldieR to make a good trade here without his Hussars. He really needs them against the Mason Haltons, even sending villagers forward. Where did my Huss go? Yeah, they went all dead against the Puma Spearmen, sending in villagers, still not with great coach or blunderbuss against his army, because it's basically his last shot. And calling GG here in the final battle of the final game. SoldieR has lost this final game. The SoldieR hype may not have been enough. Knuschelbär using the dot, and it looks like it is game over. Knuschelbär winning 3 games here in this series. So the play all 5 goes in favor of Knuschelbär with 3 points towards the Nila Ninjas, instead of to SoldieR towards the New World Challengers. Wow. Okay. Is this a time that I can start breathing again? I hope so. Man, this was a game. I mean, There was a lot of action this game, which was something we were waiting for. You should have masked and pushed. Yeah, perhaps. Should have mirrored, perhaps as well. Wow. Well, let's thank these guys for playing. They have played for 3.5 hours, which may not seem too long to you, but let me tell you, it's quite exhausting for the players and for me. And they have so in just 5 games. So these games definitely took a lot longer than your average game. But yeah, thank them both for playing, SoldieR and Knuschelbär, for this series. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed casting. I haven't casted for quite a few weeks now, maybe even multiple months. So yeah, I'm really happy to get back into it with such an amazing series and not with some one-sided series or something. Spares on Huss, says commentator Clutch. Yeah. Okay, so Bramboy, let me know. What is exactly the standings now between the different teams? Like, how bad is it that NWC didn't get 3 points out of here? I think NWC is still ahead in points compared to Nila Ninja, so they should still be fine, right? So yeah. Wow. Okay. I've no more words. I've seen everything now. We have seen 5 games. We have Sam Sono 1 following me. Hey, I know you from pretty sure from Age of Empires 2 community, from the official Age of Empires Discord as well. Sam Sono 1. I do know you from somewhere. Thanks for the follow. So yeah, and we have seen Zuda give out 100 community sub gifts. That's amazing. I'm not quite sure whether alerts are not showing up. The donation alerts did show up, but otherwise it would still be going on, the subscription messages. So 100 people here in the chat. This is why you should follow ESOC TV, right? And watch the streams, because sometimes some kind of millionaire Zuda comes in and just gives out 100 subscriptions. What a genius. Resources gathered. Well, British is ahead. It's not too interesting. This one is the most interesting. SoldieR right-clicking here, losing all his hussars to the Puma Spearman, losing it from there. And this first fight, we didn't go great for SoldieR as well.